Central. A victory by Houston today would give them the divisional championship. Both the Steelers and Oilers very much in the hunt for a playoff spot in the AFC. It is a chilly late December afternoon at Three Rivers. Temperature just above freezing, but the wind chill in the 20s. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pittsburgh. Tom Hammond and Chris Collinsworth. You know, Chris, at one time this season, the Oilers were 1-4, seemingly a team in disarray. But since then, they've reeled off 8 straight victories and stand on the brink of the divisional championship now. But, of course, today they must deal emotionally with the death of Jeff Alm earlier this week.
And both these teams just observed a moment of silence for Jeff Alm. But as Warren Moon told us, that this was a very tough week for this Houston Oilers team. On Wednesday, the team was very somber. On Thursday, a little bit better. And by Friday, he felt like this football team was finally ready to play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers, once again, without Barry Foster, their leading rusher. How much does this change things for the offense of the Steelers?
Well, I think it does. As Ray Childress told us, Leroy Thompson is a very good football player, but there's just something special about Barry Foster. Bill Cowher, though, added he's been out of the lineup for 4.5 weeks, so it can't have that big an effect.
3 weeks ago, Houston beat the Steelers 23-3, but this has been a tough place for them to win over the years.
It sure has. The Pittsburgh Steelers have beaten the Houston Oilers 3 straight here in Three River Stadium, and overall 18 of 24.
So the Houston Oilers will get first crack at things here at Three Rivers Stadium on a chilly late December afternoon. But even though some snow flurries are in the forecast, not yet. Offensive line for the Oilers. Mike Munchak's return helped them on this winning streak. He's had as many knee operations as he had trips to the Pro Bowl. 8 of those. He has nearly 200 people here from strength today. They're the backs of the receivers. Warren Moon into the Pro Bowl the last 5 years. Gary Brown bouncing off tacklers, and Rod Woodson came in a hurry from his quarterback spot, and then Carnell Lake finished him off. Pittsburgh's defense is tops in the NFL, and they'll open in their dime. Steed and Evans at tackle, with Green and Brown moving from linebacker to defensive end. Lloyd, the leading tackler, has 30 more than the next man. And against the run and shoot, 6 defensive backs. Johnson and Figures cover the wideouts. Woodson and Lake, the slot receivers. Perry and Jones are the safeties. Moon's first pass on target and complete for a first down. Givens knocked out of bounds after making the reception by Lake and Perry.
Ernest Givens with an early first catch to silence this crowd. Bill Cowher was in the newspaper this week trying to get the fans up. He said it really gives this run and shoot offense problems when the crowd gets in the game.
And as the Oilers broke huddle there, you saw the decal 76 on their helmets, the number of Jeff Alm. Under pressure, Moon unloaded it in the flat to Brown, and Brown tripped up by Rod Woodson for a gain of 5 or 6 yards.
And what an impact Gary Brown has had on this Houston Oilers offense. 5 starts, 3 100-yard games, had 194 yards against the Browns in just his second start. That's the most yards by an Oilers back in 13 years since Earl Campbell had 203 yards against the Vikings in 1980.
Averaging 5.2 yards a carry. That's tops in the NFL. Gary Brown again on the carry. Stopped by Kevin Green that time.
And Tom, I think you're looking at the key to the football game, and it's Gary Brown. The Pittsburgh Steelers have deployed their dime defense. They're going to take a timeout here for a measurement. And what they would like to do is play 5 men at the line of scrimmage and hopefully be able to stop Gary Brown from running the football with just 5 men. If you're forced to bring 6 men up into the box, Warren Moon is going to have a big day throwing the ball.
Just inches short of the first down, as you can see. Gary Brown is somewhat of a superhero freak, and earlier this week he dressed in a Spider-Man costume for a feature in Sports Illustrated.
I got the feeling he was just a little embarrassed about that after his teammates got finished with him.
Second and inches for Brown and the Oilers. Excuse me, third and inches. And Moon keeps and picks up the first down. Joel Steed tackling Warren Moon, who actually is the third leading rusher on the Oilers team. That's his 43rd carry of the season.
And Warren Moon just having new life in the National Football League after he was benched. Said it gave him a second life, a second motivation to prove people in our organization wrong. Jack Pardee claims it was his decision, but Warren Moon just simply was not buying that one.
It wasn't totally Moon's fault. They had a lot of breakdowns, and the development of the offensive line returning to form has been one of the big turnarounds for the Oilers. Moon shoots it downfield way over the head of his intended receiver, Curtis Duncan. Miscommunication, it appeared that time, and Moon went down in the face of the rush from Chad Brown.
Miscommunication and a little bit of a threat from Chad Brown. Chad Brown went low and tackled Warren Moon around the waist, and Warren may have flinched just a little bit as he threw this football. Number 94, Chad Brown, coming in, and you saw he just simply was unable to follow through, and the ball sailed high.
Brown is the rookie second-round draft choice from Colorado, who had a big sack against Miami Monday night when he got to Berg in the first quarter on a third down. Moon given time and threads the needle for a first down inside the Steeler 40. Givens makes the catch with Gary Jones taking him down immediately, but Moon put that ball in a perfect position.
And I really look at this as being the key matchup in this game. Carnell Lake, number 37, is a strong safety. He's being asked to cover Ernest Givens in the slot one-on-one. That is a matchup that generally you don't like to have as a defensive coordinator, but Dom Capers told us that he was very comfortable with the man-to-man coverage abilities of Carnell Lake.
Three wide receivers set left this time. Duncan, the only man on the right. Steelers show blitz. Here they come. Screen pass to Brown. He's got a convoy. Brown inside the 20. Cuts back. Gets a block. And Gary Brown, touchdown. Just got into the end zone. 38 yards on the screen. Beautifully set up.
Tom Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator for the Houston Oilers, said he had a feel for when the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to blitz. I think he guessed in that situation and was dead right. The Steelers came with the blitz. They call the perfect play, a screen pass to Gary Brown, and it goes the distance.
Kevin Gilbride made the call, and it worked to perfection. 38 yards and a score from this quick strike Houston offense.
Sometimes the players get it done, and sometimes the coaches get it done. Give credit for that touchdown to Kevin Gilbride.
Al Del Greco to attempt the extra point. And he boots it through the uprights. Impressive opening drive by the Houston Oilers, who move up 7-0 on the Steelers.
So you think driving an Oldsmobile 88 is like sitting in your living room? Well, we've got a photo of your living room here. Love the couch. Now take a look at the 88 LSS. Cooler seats, much better sound system. Plus it handles better than your living room. Not to mention many cars. So if you're gonna sit down, at least do it someplace good. It's your money.
When regular drills hold you back, send in the Ranger cordless drill from Black & Decker. It goes anywhere to handle all the tough jobs. No strings attached. The Ranger cordless drill, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
You know the possibilities of toppings on that deal?
Yeah, 10.
1,048,576.
10 was just a ballpark figure.
Some ballpark.
Little Caesar's favorite 5. 2 pizzas, 5 toppings, $7.98.
Pizza.
Finally, there's a TV that proves technology can make our lives easier. A Magnavox TV with a precise color picture, smart windows which preview other channels, and the unique smart sound feature, which ensures your volume will stay at normal levels no matter what comes on. Magnavox is so smart, I didn't even have to show up for this commercial. How'd I do?
Great. You were great.
The innovative TVs from Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium, where the Houston Oilers drive 80 yards with the opening kickoff to take a 7-0 lead on the Steelers. 8 plays, 80 yards, just under 4 minutes. The screen pass to Gary Brown. Haywood Jeffries gave him the last final block to get him into the end zone.
And Tom, being behind is nothing new for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have been behind by at least 14 points in 5 of the last 7 games. So for whatever reason, the Steelers have really been getting off to some slow starts.
Well, significant by the absence there is number 26, Rod Woodson, who is not deep to return the kickoff for the Steelers. Andre Hastings, number 88, is back there for the first time, joined by Dwight Stone. Del Greco ready to kick off for the Oilers. Hastings from the 8. Has a seam. One of his own men got in his way to slow his momentum, but it's still a pretty good return all the way out to the 29-yard line by the rookie from Georgia. Now here's the Pittsburgh offensive lineup. This is the top rushing attack in the AFC. Left tackle John Jackson having a fine year, and the offensive line includes 2 Pro Bowl performers from a year ago, Dawson and Hasselrig. O'Donnell, the 4th-rated AFC quarterback, 12 passing touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Green is his favorite target. And once again, Leroy Thompson replaces Barry Foster. Ernie Mills, the 3rd wide receiver on passing downs. Thompson fumbles the ball. Football is loose and out of bounds. A terrific break for the Steelers as Thompson never had control of the ball from O'Donnell.
Thompson tries to get the handoff. Looked like a pretty good handoff from Neil O'Donnell, and Thompson just let it squirt right through his hands. And if Chris Dishman had been able to pick it up, Steelers may have been behind 14-0 and felt very comfortable the way they've been here in the past few games.
So because the ball went out of bounds, the Steelers do retain possession. It'll go for a loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11. Thompson secures the ball this time and takes it across the 30 to the 32, tackled there by Eddie Robinson.
Leroy Thompson let it be known that it bothers him, all the attention that Barry Foster's injury has gotten. He said it's almost like people think I can't do the job. I want to prove that I can do the job.
Houston defense has forced 35 turnovers. That's 2nd in the NFL. Childress been to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Jones has 11 sacks. There you see the secondary. Chris Dishman, the leading cover man there. Blaine Bishop is the nickelback. And Bo Orlando starting today in place of free safety Marcus Robertson, maybe the MVP of the Houston defense thus far. O'Donnell's pass is picked off. Intercepted by Bo Orlando. Orlando for the touchdown. Bo Orlando was replacing Marcus Robertson and has picked off his 2nd pass of the season. Ironically, this was the man Buddy Ryan thought wasn't fast enough. He expected to get Terry Hogue into the game quickly because he didn't think Orlando was fast enough to cover. First career touchdown, a 35-yard interception return for Bo Orlando.
And here you see the impact of Buddy Ryan coming with the blitz. Neil O'Donnell rushing the throw on the crossing route, and Bo Orlando playing center field takes it in for 6.
Attempting the point after touchdown.
Al Del Greco once again on to attempt the extra point. And it's good. Officially a 38-yard touchdown on the interception returned by Orlando. And we played less than 5.5 minutes. It's 14-0.
The Schick ST with the one-push cleaning bar gives men a closer shave than the 3 leading disposables. And men say it delivers a safer shave than the 3 leading disposables. So, for a better overall shave than the 3 leading disposables, it's the ST from Schick. We're changing the face of shaving.
So, you're buying a new car. Well, before you spend all that money, why not make a free call? 1-800-LSS-WINS. When you do, we'll send you a free video showing how well the Oldsmobile 88 LSS luxury sedan stacks up against cars costing thousands more. It's your money, but fortunately, it's also a free call.
Hi. Is this space taken?
No.
Then I'll sit down.
You want a Bud Light?
Not yet.
Hey, wait a minute! That's my Bud Light!
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
How about a little help here?
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile. By Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. By the Schick ST Razor, we're changing the face of shaving. And by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium. Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth, and a sellout crowd in shock as the Oilers have taken a quick 14-0 lead on the Steelers.
Tom, now you've got a very difficult situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Neil O'Donnell has not thrown for more than 200 yards in a game since that great Monday night effort against the Buffalo Bills. This is not a team that is very adept at coming from behind.
Do you junk your game plan here?
Not yet. I mean, you still obviously have 3.5 quarters left to play. I think that they have to get back to the running game and just try and, at least for a little while, keep their defense off the field.
Hastings returning the Del Greco kick to the 20-yard line and spun down there by Michael Barrow.
Tackled by Teeter and Barrow.
On the touchdown by Bo Orlando, watch Jeff Graham, the receiver, as he comes across the field, number 81. He never even gets his head around. He never saw the football. It was really very well thrown by Neil O'Donnell. Graham just simply didn't get his head around quick enough.
Graham in front of Orlando. If he puts his hands up, he either makes the catch or prevents Orlando at least from intercepting. Instead, it went for a touchdown. It's 14-0 Houston. Leroy Thompson, first down carry. Nets him about 4 yards to the 25, where he's stopped by Glenn Montgomery.
Glenn Montgomery made the stop. He's having his best year of his career. He never started a game before this season, but I had a chance to watch him on film yesterday, and Glenn Montgomery has really fit in very nicely up there with Ray Childress and William Fuller and Sean Jones on that Houston defensive line.
That last stop, his 38th tackle of the season. That's a career high. O'Donnell sacked at the 15-yard line by Sean Jones, number 12 on the season for Jones, and the 87th of his career.
Well, you're talking about a streak by Sean Jones. 12 sacks now on the season. This year, he had 8.5 sacks from the 8th game on last year. He has been almost unstoppable. Number 96 working against Duval Love, and that's a mismatch. Sean Jones just too quick for Duval Love.
Kind of look like one of those old-time movies. You see that? Sean Jones is one of the old-timers indeed. He's in his 10th season. We're going strong after that premature retirement for a couple of games last year. O'Donnell in trouble again, and he'll ground it, saving the possible safety as he was being chased and in danger of being sacked in the end zone. O'Donnell gets rid of it, but the Steelers must punt.
Remember, not intentionally grounding. If you're outside the tight end box and being chased, you're allowed to simply throw the football away. Nice job there by Neil O'Donnell, but the pressure by Buddy Ryan's defense has been the story so far in this one.
Drury is deep to await the Royals punt. He's standing just in front of his own goal line, and special teams, especially the punt coverage, have been a problem of late for the Steelers. Nice sailing boot that time by Royals, fielded at the 34-yard line. Drury, looking to get outside, is tackled at the 46 by Tim Jordan. So pretty good coverage that time by the Steelers. 51-yard punt, 11 on the return. Cowher's team, though, is in trouble.
I'm holding Bruce in this shoe, man. You know what Bruce does in these shoes, man? Bad things, man. I mean bad things. Things that I just can't possibly talk about. You know what Bruce would do if he found me messing with this shoe, man. Bad things, man.
No matter what their children do.
It's Christmas, Pop.
Be polite.
These parents,
Idiots,
keep acting like kids.
Eat my shorts. At least you can make peace with the man.
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau. The grumpier they are,
damn kids,
the funnier they get.
Do the world a favor, pull your lip over your head and swallow.
Grumpy Old Men. Rated PG-13. Starts Christmas Day at a theater near you.
So you think driving an Oldsmobile 88 is like sitting in your living room? Well, we've got a photo of your living room here. Love the couch. Now take a look at the 88 LSS. Cooler seats, much better sound system. Plus it handles better than your living room. Not to mention many cars. So if you're gonna sit down, at least do it someplace good. It's your money.
Still 8:08 left in the first quarter. Houston with the ball again, leading 14-0. And let's take a look now at the natural gas quarterback efficiency ratings. Neil O'Donnell of the Steelers at 83.4 among AFC quarterbacks. Joe Montana the leader with Elway close behind. Warren Moon number 8 with that 77.4 rating. Not what you expect from Warren Moon, but after the slow start, he's gradually been climbing up, and as you see, has missed only one pass so far today. Brown stumbles forward for a yard or two. Joel Steed making the tackle. Steed, in his second year from Colorado, replaced Gerald Williams at nose tackle, enabling Williams to move to defensive end this season, and his play has really been outstanding throughout the season. The coach is very happy with his performance.
Yeah, Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, said Steed is just so tough to knock off the ball. The big reason why the Steelers are #1 in the National Football League against the run.
Former Buffalo All-American. Moon now facing a 2nd and 8. Brown to midfield. 3 yards on the play, and again Joel Steed credit for the tackle.
Well, the Steelers have not allowed a 100-yard rusher this season, and only 3 teams have over 100 yards against them. The Houston Oilers had 125 in their first meeting, and that was the most against this Steelers defense.
Third and 5 for Moon and the Oilers. Moon down the middle, wide open, and the pass complete. Webster Slaughter's first catch of the day takes him all the way to the 30, where he's tripped up by Darren Perry. Slaughter, who leads the AFC in receptions, that was number 77. It covered 20 yards. Slaughter playing with sore ribs and looks just a little shaken up there.
Last week in their game, he had to come out in the second quarter, and this is probably the toughest catch to make with sore ribs. Going up, extending your arms. But as Kevin Gilbride told us, he said Slaughter's just such a tough guy. I know he'll go as long as he can.
Oilers on the move again inside the Steeler 30, already leading 14-0 in the first quarter. 6 minutes left. Quick drop by Moon, shoots it complete on the outside. Duncan has it, then is bumped out of bounds by Deion Figures. And so far, Moon and that talented core of receivers, all 4 of whom have been to the Pro Bowl at one time or another, are shredding this top-rated Steeler defense.
Well, Tom, what I think happened is when the Steelers got burned on that blitz with the screen pass for a touchdown, it really has made them just a little bit tentative. You get the feeling that maybe Dom Capers unwilling to send the blitz the way that he has in the past against the Houston Oilers.
And that has Warren Moon licking his chops so far, marching them down the field again. Moon changing the play. Pass tipped and almost intercepted. D.J. Johnson had a shot at it after it came off the hands of Webster Slaughter.
And D.J. Johnson would have had a chance to do some more damage to the ribs of Webster Slaughter. When you're playing with bad ribs. These are not the kind of balls that you want to have thrown to you right there. You saw Webster try to break it up. But I'm sure it's in the back of his mind when he sticks his hands up over his head that there may be further damage done.
Slaughter has gone out of the game now as his ribs apparently are bothering him. Oilers have converted 2 for 2 third downs. Green coming against Moon, but he shoots it for the end zone, incomplete. Double coverage there on Ernest Givens in the end zone. And it'll bring up 4th down and a field goal attempt for the Oilers.
Well, you can tell that Warren Moon wants to test strong safety Carnell Lake in that man coverage against Ernest Givens. But that time, Carnell Lake did a super job, was all over Givens in the end zone.
Del Greco has hit 23 of 27 field goals this season, having an outstanding year. His 102.2nd in the AFC. Leads 14 for the Houston record, has 2 already today. Twice this season has hit 52-yarders. This one from 41 yards out, and no good. Del Greco misses from 41, giving the Pittsburgh fans their first chance to cheer in this opening quarter. They're down 14-0.
Recently, Oldsmobile pitted its 88 LSS against Acura Legend L and Lexus ES 300. Well, actually, no. In fact, if you call this toll-free number, 1-800-LSS-TEST, we'll send you a free video showing how well the LSS stacks up against cars costing thousands more. You'll probably be grateful. After all, it's your money.
Braun Plex Control. The first electric shaver with a pivoting head. It automatically adjusts to every contour of your face. Plex Control from Braun. Braun, the last word in shavers. Images can change. Just like that, with the Rebel in each and every EOS lens from Canon.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
5:12 left in the first, 14-0 Oilers. You're looking at Buddy Ryan, whose tenure this season is first as the defensive coordinator of the Oilers has been tempestuous, to say the least. And have they been better this year? Well, certainly have a different style of defense under Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, they do. The yardage is just about the same that they've given up, but the takeaways are so much better. Buddy Ryan creates opportunities for his offense and sometimes creates offenses. We saw with Bo Orlando running one back for a touchdown.
So an attacking style defense that often gives up the big play, but as you saw more often than not, will make a big play for the Oilers.
And he talked last night about how big a factor intimidation is in the National Football League, and Houston just completely dominating the game. And I think to some degree intimidating Neil O'Donnell, the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has not been comfortable in the pocket.
O'Donnell was laughing yesterday about Buddy Ryan standing at midfield in warm-ups trying to intimidate the other team himself. Thompson finds a seam, cuts back to the 28-yard line.
And that missed field goal by Del Greco really may have woken up this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Sometimes when you get in a ball game like this and you feel like there's an avalanche falling on your head in the first quarter, just anything to break the momentum, to begin to turn it around. Now they're down 14 instead of 17. The crowd's back in the game a little bit. You have a chance to go on down the field and try and cut this lead to 7.
Thompson lost his shoe, as you can see, and you also see Bernie Kokar, the referee, telling him to reset the play clock. So they're giving him time to relace the shoe. Meanwhile, Ray Childress, who made the tackle, was a little slow getting up, but will stay in the game.
Some shoe company is loving this one.
Thompson now ready to go. And the play clock begins to tick down. Game clock shows 4.5 left in a so far disastrous first quarter for the Steelers. Thompson just to the 30 and across, tackled there by Al Smith. And we'll have a chance to check in with Jim Lampley at NFL Live. Jim?
Tom, the Bills scored on their opening drive in Miami, botched the extra point. Here's Miami's answer. Scott Mitchell with a 15-yarder to Mark Ingram. Mitchell 4 of 5 in his first drive in 5 weeks. Miami kicks the point and takes the lead 7-6 in the first. Back to Tom and Chris.
All right, Jim, so welcome back Scott Mitchell for the Miami Dolphins. Here, 14-0 Houston. O'Donnell backpedaling, firing to Thompson, made a diving catch and couldn't get up, but he does have enough for a first down to the 35. O'Donnell passing for the initial Steelers first down of the game.
And that's what you have to do against Buddy Ryan's defenses. Run some crossing routes, hit some quick throws, throw a couple of screens, maybe a draw. You have to get Buddy Ryan out of the mindset that he can scare you with his blitzes. So far, Pittsburgh has been unable to make Buddy Ryan back off.
Look at Lamar Latham, who has been slowed with a flu, the bout of flu passing through the Oiler team. Most of it seemed to be worse last week against Cleveland than it is this week, but Latham has been slowed by this illness. Screen pass complete to Thompson. Got a good block, but then an excellent defensive play made by Big Ray Childress, who got in the middle of the interference to tackle Thompson for a short gain.
Ray Childress has been a Pro Bowler 4 of the last 5 years. Had a career-high 13 sacks last year. I asked him last night, do you think you're having as good a season this year? And he was very honest about it. He said, no, not really, but for whatever reason, sometimes that happens. He has 5 sacks on the year, but he has always been very tough against the run. Has led the Oilers linemen in tackles every year in the National Football League.
Has nearly 800 of them and has started every game he's played, 135 today. Thompson made a nice cutback move. He'll be about 2 yards short of the first down, as he is definitely the workhorse for the Steelers, who have not abandoned their game plan, staying with their running attack, which ranks first in the AFC.
Leroy Thompson had a career-high 142 total yards against Miami, 81 yards rushing, 61 yards receiving, and he's very open about the fact that he's a little sick and tired of hearing about Barry Foster.
Foster injury has been quite a source of controversy. Headed for surgery Tuesday. O'Donnell's pass. Was it a catch made? Yes, it was. Adrian Cooper, the backup tight end, made the grab and up for a first down. Latham on the tackle for Houston, but O'Donnell continues the drive for the Steelers, just what they needed here in the closing minutes of the first quarter.
And a good job there by offensive coordinator Ron Earhart. He knew that this offensive line was having problems with the blitzing Oilers defense, so he moved O'Donnell out of the pocket that time and got the easy completion to Cooper.
Only his 7th catch of the season. Thompson looking for a block. Can't get it. Got 2 yards on the play, stopped short of midfield by Sean Jones. Got help from Al Smith.
Wilbur Marshall did a nice job of containing the play that time. Buddy Ryan told us last night that his defense has been very physical all year, but when Wilbur Marshall returned, they became even more so. He really likes Wilbur Marshall, who he had with the Chicago Bears.
Marshall had his knee scoped in August, early in August, has played, counting this one, 8 games this season. Closing 30 seconds of the first quarter. O'Donnell looked to the sideline, decided better of it, went to the short man, Eric Green, and it was broken up by the linebacker, Eddie Robinson.
And what you're going to see today is Eric Green double-teamed, Jeff Graham double-teamed, and Dwight Stone is going to be matched up one-on-one against Chris Dishman, who is the Oilers' best cover man. That time, Dwight Stone was completely blanketed by Dishman. O'Donnell had to come off him and come back to Green, the tight end.
4 wide receiver look this time. Green, the tight end, lined up in the slot to the top of the screen. It's Mills, Stone, Graham, and Green at the wideouts. And O'Donnell calls timeout with 2 seconds on the play clock. So the Steelers forced to burn a timeout with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. And while we have a pause, let's go back to New York. Jim Lampley has some more info for us. Jim?
Here's a note, Tom. In Cleveland, Vinny Testaverde throws a 10-yard touchdown pass to a wide receiver named Keenan McCardle from UNLV. Only his 3rd catch of the season, his first NFL TD. 7-0 Browns in the game between the Parcells Pats and the Belichick Browns. Back to Pittsburgh.
All right, Jim, and Vinny Testaverde welcomed back by
Keenan, huh?
And I guess the Browns still mathematically alive for a playoff spot anyway. And next Sunday, the Browns will be at the Rams trying to stay alive if they can win against New England today. There's the lineup you'll see. NBC Sports with more NFL action, starting with the 12:30 p.m. kickoff for NFL Live. Most of you will see the Steelers take on the Seahawks. Some will see the Raiders and the Packers or regional action next week starting at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. From the gun, O'Donnell. Deep down the middle. Almost caught by Graham just off his fingertips. Bubba McDowell was the man that dislodged the football when it appeared that Graham was going to make a fingertip catch. And he is slow getting up.
There are some open spots in the middle of the field against Buddy Ryan, but if you want to go there, wide receivers beware, because you get quick opportunities and then you get hit. One of the things that Ron Earhart talked about the last matchup with the Houston Oilers, he said we had guys wide open, but 7 drop passes killed us in that first game, and Jeff Graham really paid the price for going after that one.
Yeah, Bubba McDowell popped him pretty good. As you see, not only knocked the ball loose, but injured Graham. And wide receiver is a spot in which the Steelers are not at all deep. Yancey Thigpen, one of them, is out today, inactive. And Graham quickly on his feet. That's not exactly a warm holiday greeting he's getting as he leaves the field.
They take their football seriously around here.
It's 4th down, and Mark Royals on to punt for the Steelers.
Royals back to kick for Pittsburgh. Drury to receive.
Willie Drury will field the punt. As you saw, Royals' first one covered 51. This one goes way up in the air and out of bounds. They'll have to set the angle on this one. They're lining it up now, and they will spot it at about the 23-yard line. Royals being asked to kick the ball out of bounds quite often this season and hasn't always gotten the job done. That one only 29 yards, but it puts the Oilers back at their 23.
And the Steelers have really had some problems with their special teams. You see their special team coach John Guy standing there behind Bill Cowher. 3 punt returns for touchdowns. Of course, the 2 in one game by Eric Metcalf. Their last in punt return average. Also had 1 kickoff return for a touchdown by Atlanta's Tony Smith.
As you see, not so special. Just 17 seconds left in the first quarter. Moon to Gibbons, complete, first down. Gibbons tripped up across the 40 by Gary Jones.
And Tom, there it is again, that matchup between Gibbons and Carnell Lake. We're going to be seeing it all afternoon. That's the one Warren Moon likes.
And thankfully for Steeler fans, the first quarter has finally come to an end. Oilers moving the ball at will and leading the Steelers 14-0.
I know what you're feeling, though we're far apart. I hear you in my heart. You know the way to make this heart rejoice. You always do. I can count on you, your true voice. Just let me hear loud and clear the real you coming through, your true voice.
Did you reserve the car with Hertz?
Not exactly, but it's a good deal.
Are they as fast as Hertz?
Not exactly, but what's the rush? We're on vacation!
Dad, are we lost? Hertz gives you computerized directions.
Honey, this is not exactly Hertz, okay?
Well, I hope they have the same emergency road service as Hertz.
Not exactly.
In Rent-A-Car, there's Hertz, and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
Are you sure this is the way to the hotel?
Not exactly.
Did you hear that?
Christmas afternoon, the presents have all been opened, except for 3 from NBC. First, the NBA's most dominant player, Akeem Olajuwon, leads the Rockets against Charles Barkley and the Suns. Then, a possible Super Bowl preview as the Oilers battle the 49ers. And Shaquille O'Neal goes prime time as the Magic meet the world champion Bulls. All Christmas Day on NBC.
Oilers looking for their 9th win in a row. One of the reasons they've improved, big number 63, Mike Munchak. There's 160 fans, friends of his here from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Quick drop Moon, hits Jeffries, catch made, driven back by DJ Johnson.
And Tom, you talked about that offensive line, and Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, told us that when Munchak returned, it just seemed to solidify everything on offense. It gave us 2 great players playing beside each other, Munchak and center Bruce Matthews, who has been a Pro Bowl starter the last 5 years. And they really had some problems at the beginning of the year with that offensive line. John Flannery had a knee injury. Brad Hopkins, the rookie, was a holdout. Don Maggs lost to free agency. And Warren Moon was really getting killed in those first 5 games.
Brown across midfield and into Steeler territory, very close to the first down, tackled by Carnell Lake. And we'll see the spot of the football, whether it's enough for the first down. There is an Oilers shaken up.
I really feel like
that's Slaughter.
It's like Webster again, and now he's got a problem. He's holding his left knee. I can't tell you how much respect I have for Webster Slaughter as a football player. He's one of the few guys when I was still playing that I really studied the way that he ran pass patterns. Maybe as good a cutter on the football field with the outs and the comeback routes as I've ever seen in the game. Gets his body so low.
Having his career best season. We'll take a break while they tend to him.
Today, 19,000 people will start their day at sunrise. Thousands of fathers will hold their child for the first time. And millions of people will keep track of their time with a Citizen watch. In Paris, it's a Citizen Elegance. In the South Pacific, a Citizen ProMaster. But from Nepal to New York, more people depend on a watch made by Citizen than any other timepiece. Citizen watches how the world tells time.
Difficult decision at first. But over time, it gets a lot easier to live with. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
During the holidays, one of the great things about living out here is looking for the perfect tree. Sometimes when we find one, we just leave it. Season's greetings from our families to yours.
Oilers have a 14-0 lead, but this would be a significant loss for the Houston offense. That's Webster Slaughter, who apparently injured his knee on the last play.
Watch on the left side of your picture. Number 89, Webster Slaughter, is going to be blocking against Rod Woodson, and then the pile just runs into his left knee. His own man really was the one that made contact. Gary Brown, as Carnell Lake made the tackle. Tom, so many wide receivers get hurt blocking on plays. I honestly believe that you'll see more receivers injured when the pile comes at them. They're standing there doing the chicken fighting kind of blocking that wide receivers do, and all of a sudden your running back gets tackled right into the back of your legs. I got injured a couple of times during the course of my career that very way. Maybe Al Davis is right, not having his wide receivers blocking down the field.
See some other scores as Warren Moon tries to stay loose. And Slaughter, with 1 catch today, has 77 on the season, bidding to become only the 7th man in NFL history with 100 receptions in one season. And you have to wonder kind of how many emotional hits this Houston team can take. Already Jeff Alm, with his tragic death earlier this week. A lot of counseling, advising the Houston players to put it behind them, but now they see their most productive receiver go out of the game, and knees always scare you.
There were so many questions coming into this game. How could the Houston Oilers possibly get themselves ready emotionally after the death of Jeff Alm? And apparently they have done a very good job of that. And this is a sad sight for me to see. I really enjoy watching Webster Slaughter play the game of football. You see the 76 on the back of the helmet paying tribute to Jeff Alm.
And replacing Webster Slaughter will be number 87, Pat Coleman, 5'7", 176, third year from Mississippi, a 9th-round draft choice. Coleman has only 7 receptions all season. First down Oilers from the 47 of the Steelers. Moon goes deep down the sideline. Too far for the intended receiver, Curtis Duncan. Deion Figures covering him down the sideline.
Did a nice job of picking up the blitz by Rod Woodson, allowing one-on-one coverage down the field. Deion Figures is beat on the play. The rookie Duncan in behind him and unable to make the one-handed catch, just a little bit too far for Curtis Duncan.
Second and 10 for the Oilers. They lead 14-0. 13:45 left first half from Three Rivers. A win by the Oilers would be 9 in a row. Will give them a sweep of the division. Running play to Gary Brown, tackled by Donald Evans. He got about 5 yards.
Donald Evans said that it's do or die. If we don't beat Houston, we don't deserve to go to the playoffs. I assume meaning even as a wild card. He felt this team was ready to play today. He said if the Oilers aren't ready for whatever reason, they'll be in a handful of trouble, because I can tell by looking in the eyes of my teammates that the revenge factor is going to be playing into this one after what the Oilers did to us down there.
Houston has converted 2 of 3 third downs thus far. Might have caught the Steelers offside. Penalty markers down. Moon's pass incomplete. Intended for Givens.
How many veteran quarterbacks do we see do that? And defenses know it's coming. When it's third down and less than 5, I promise you, the defense is up there talking about it, saying don't jump off sides, watch out for the hard count. But guys like John Elway and Warren Moon, they get it done time after time. And here is a
offside on the defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Greg Lloyd was the man offside.
First and 10. Houston ball on the Pittsburgh 36.
Remember, the quarterback cannot move his head during the course of the hard count. Warren Moon did a nice job keeping that head still. But whatever he did was good enough to get Greg Lloyd to jump.
So first down Oilers, 36 of the Steelers trying to add to that 14-point lead. Moon across the middle, on target to Givens again. Covered by Gary Jones, but it'll be first down just short of the 20-yard line. 14-yard gain. Moon to Givens, who already is having a big day.
Ernest Givens already broke Drew Hill's team record of 480 catches earlier this year. He led the AFC with a career high catches last season. 2-time Pro Bowler, missed just 2 games in his career due to injury, which is really amazing for a guy that only weighs 172 pounds in the National Football League.
Spot the ball at the 22. Quick drop. Jeffries on the receiving end of that Moon pass, then driven back by D.J. Johnson.
Well, D.J. Johnson's going to give Haywood Jeffries plenty of room in this ball game. He gave up a 65-yard bomb to Jeffries in the first game. And really, there's always a lot of pressure on D.J. Johnson, because on the other side you have Rod Woodson, and nobody wants to throw at the great Rod Woodson. So they're always trying to create situations where they can go one-on-one against D.J. Johnson.
There's Rod Woodson. They haven't tested him yet today. A couple of times he's been coming on the blitz. 2nd and 5.
Moon's pass intended for Coleman, who replaced Slaughter. It's incomplete. Coleman covered by Carnell Lake. It'll bring up a third down.
And Tom, I think that Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, has to come back to the blitz. This Pittsburgh Steelers team has been so effective this season by bringing their corners, by bringing Rod Woodson and Carnell Lake off the corner. It just so happened that Kevin Gilbride had the perfect call, the screen pass against him early in the ball game. But Dom Capers, at least so far, has really been unwilling to come back to it. But that's what they do best.
Let's see if Gilbride can outfox them again. With plenty of time, looked at 3 different receivers before he got it Jeffries' way, and it's incomplete. Jeffries covered well by D.J. Johnson, and it'll be another Del Greco field goal attempt.
Incomplete. 4th down.
You can see Warren Moon's head going all the way across the field, and everybody was covered. Greg Lloyd had his man, Rod Woodson had his man, and then D.J. Johnson had Haywood Jeffries covered. Nice job in the secondary. Dom Capers admits the strength of our defensive football team is our skill people in the secondary.
35-yard attempt by Del Greco, who missed earlier from 41. This one is good. So Del Greco with a field goal, increasing the lead for Pardee and the Oilers to 17-0.
Don't you wish you could be this comfortable with all your decisions? Some things are worth the price.
Just try Black & Decker's Power Driver with torque control. You'll notice one major difference, the clutch. The higher the setting, the more powerful it gets. Power Driver and Power Driver with torque control from Black & Decker.
Gentlemen, our attempts to stop the Energizer Bunny have failed. We've got to get his battery. And to do it, we need somebody big. Big? Big. It's the end of the road, Mr. Energizer Bunny.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Acura. Some things are worth the price. By the Citizen Watch Company, because Citizen is how the world tells time. By Wendy's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers, the best hamburgers and a whole lot more. And by Hertz, for business, for pleasure. Nobody does it exactly like Hertz.
From Three Rivers, Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth. Our producer, David Michaels, director, Joe Assetti. Mike Ditka said on NFL Live that he thought the Dolphins and the Bills were the 2 best teams in the AFC. Based on this first half performance at a tough place to play, it's hard to say that the Houston Oilers aren't the best team right now in the AFC.
Well, you just have to wonder if this isn't Houston's year finally. They've had so many bad breaks, the heartbreaking loss in Buffalo last season. This is a very good football team, and the added dimension of Buddy Ryan's defense along with Kevin Gilbride's offense, this is a very powerful team now on both sides of the ball.
Here's the kickoff, and again, Rod Woodson is not there. He's playing so much in the dime defense, he's not returning kicks. Hastings has taken his place. This one fielded by Stone. Dwight Stone, driven back short of the 20-yard line. Nice tackle by John Henry Mills. Total domination thus far by the Houston Oilers. Their lead 17-0. Their yardage lead 166-24. And Pittsburgh only 3 yards passing so far.
We're getting close to the time to abandon the game plan.
Maybe abandon ship.
Yeah, it is. We're getting very close to a lot of things here, but the wide receivers now have to pick it up. They've got to begin to win some of these individual one-on-one battles.
Quick drop, O'Donnell. His pass short hops Graham. Never got close.
Tom, there's another factor we need to talk about, and that is the arm problems that Neil O'Donnell has had lately. There are some question marks around the league because of a shoulder injury, because of his elbow injury. Can Neil O'Donnell throw the ball down the field? That one was tipped, but we really haven't seen O'Donnell take many shots down the field. The one ball to Jeff Graham, but somehow he has to loosen this Houston Oilers defense up a little.
William Fuller tipped that last one, so it's 2nd and 10. Stone, that pass too low for him to handle. Dishman covering Stone as he had a crossing route. O'Donnell and the Steelers looking for a lot of crossing routes today to run away from the defense, but only 3 of 9 passing for O'Donnell.
And Ron Earhart's philosophy or idea coming into this game is that you put Dwight Stone, who runs a 4.25 40, and for those of you who don't know much about 40 times, that's about as fast as it gets. Get him running across the field away from his man-to-man defender and hopefully hit him in stride and let him turn up the field, but so far they've been unable to do it.
O'Donnell from the gun this time as he sends Graham in motion. Chase from the pocket. Shoots it downfield. Was the catch made? Let's see. Dwight Stone, no. Incomplete. And another punt upcoming for the Steelers. And Dishman again covering Stone.
Not a great effort there by Dwight Stone either. He was on the backside of a play and he was jogging down the field. All of a sudden just happened to look back and then try to make an effort to get open. Neil O'Donnell needs him right now. He's looking desperately. Now Dwight Stone sees him and tries to get back open. Generally in the National Football League, you can't be that lazy and get away with it.
High snap pulled down by Royals, who almost had it blocked. Drury calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 47-yard line of the Oilers. Total domination at Three Rivers so far. Royals punt 32, but they're down.
1st and 10.
Finally, there's a TV that proves technology can make our lives easier. A Magnavox TV with a precise color picture, smart windows which preview other channels, and a unique smart sound feature which ensures your volume will stay at normal levels no matter what comes on. Magnavox is so smart, I didn't even have to show up for this commercial. How'd I do?
Great. You were great. The innovative TVs from Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
Hi, everybody.
Dave, we're all worried.
About what?
You haven't ordered your holiday ham from my store.
Or the cookies I made for you.
Oh, your turkey.
Or your eggnog. Or your fruitcake. Yeah, what gives?
Nothing. Wendy's is making a new Big Bacon Classic Combo.
Oh.
It's a quarter pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, and the works with biggie fries and a cold drink. So this holiday, save your appetite.
And I thought you forgot my prune tart.
Who could forget that?
Try Wendy's Big Bacon Classic Combo today.
Most people have something they're willing to pay a premium for. For some, it's art. For some, it's entertainment. For others, it's travel. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
The Jets, the Bills, a pivotal AFC East encounter. The Jets are striving to fly high and land in the playoffs as Esiason and company look to lower the boom on Buffalo. But the Bills are in the thick of the race as well and need this one to continue their surge towards the postseason. Division rivals collide next Sunday on NBC.
Welcome back to Three Rivers, where the Oilers lead 17-0. A disconsolate Webster Slaughter being wheeled to the locker room with his left leg encased in an inflatable cast. He'll be taken to the locker room for x-rays. The preliminary diagnosis of his injury, a torn medial collateral ligament. Nice cutback by Gary Brown. Brown to the sideline, runs over his own blocker and keeps his footing to the 25-yard line.
The Boo Birds are out in Pittsburgh. What an impact Gary Brown has had on this Houston Oilers offense. Averages over 5 yards per carry. That's best in the National Football League. Had 79 yards against the Steelers in the first matchup, and may have more than that this afternoon.
He's killing his wide receivers. First Jeffries, and then I didn't catch the number of the second man, but he pounded them as well. That one was 23 of his 41 yards. on the sideline, coming back to get it, then out of bounds is Curtis Duncan. It's as easy as that, folks. On the verge of becoming a rout, let's check in with Jim Lampley.
And another look at the new receiving star of the Cleveland Browns, Keenan McCardle. His second touchdown of the day. This one from Testaverde from 10 yards out. 14-3 Cleveland in the second quarter. You just know they're going to tell us on ESPN tonight. Keenan McCardle, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Tom?
Where's he been all season? Oilers with a first down to the ball at the 12-yard line of the Steelers. Moon got away from the rush, dives forward to the 9-yard line. Greg Lloyd was bearing down on him, and now a scuffle breaks out. There were several of those in the first meeting between the teams in the Astrodome, and if things continue on their pace, we might see more. There's Woodson. He was in the middle of a couple earlier, and in that one as well.
Gary Brown has done a great job running and blocking this year, but he has missed several audibles on the year that has really created some havoc in the backfield for Warren Moon, and it looked like he missed yet another. Kevin Gilbride told us that in the first game, he may have missed 7 or 8 different audibles in that game and really fouled up our offense.
You know, though, I think they'll forgive him.
They might.
Blitz comes again. Moon gets protection, floats for the end zone, incomplete.
Well, I'm really enjoying watching this offensive line from Houston work. Again, the Steelers came with the blitz, and they just simply picked it up. Warren Moon had all day to make this throw and just threw it a little bit wide. Maybe Warren Moon back on that back foot just a little bit too soon, feeling like he had to get rid of it, but they had the blitz picked up.
Well, they haven't missed many today, and now it's third. As you see, averaging 8 yards a play. It's 3rd and 7. Steelers desperately need a stop. Draw play. Brown stumbles to the 5 and just inside it, short of the first down. Woodson tripped him up.
You saw Gary Brown walk up towards Warren Moon to try and hear the audible. I think Moon audibled again on that play. As a matter of fact, Kevin Gilbride was telling us that last week Brown cost himself a touchdown because he was so afraid that Moon was audibling when he wasn't. He walked up to listen in on it at the same time they put a guy in motion and negated one of his touchdowns.
Del Greco for his 3rd field goal attempt of the first half. He's made 1 of 2 so far. 22-yard attempt. Flag down. The kick is through.
On the play.
A relatively penalty-free first half, offside against the Steelers. They'll decline it and take the 3 points.
I don't think that gives them a first down.
Well, they'd have to take the points off the board. Let's see.
Well, you'd gladly take them off if it gave you a first down and 4 new shots at it.
It was 3 yards to go. They'd have to go half the distance on the penalty.
But if it puts you down to a 4th and a half a yard, you may opt to go for it and try to go ahead and bury the Pittsburgh Steelers. Always a tough decision to try and take 3 points off the board. Trying to give Houston some idea of how close it is to the first down.
Officials tied measuring the down.
Boy, would that be a major mistake by Pittsburgh.
It'll be short. You saw Bernie Kukar saying it would be less than a foot short, so Pardee will decline.
Offside on the defense. Penalty is declined. Field goal is good.
So the field goal by Del Greco is good. He's 2 of 3 on the day, and the score now moves to 20-0.
Pittsburgh nothing.
Difficult decision at first. But over time, it gets a lot easier to live with. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
Before you thought to dream, Canon had a vision. Before you have a problem, Canon has the solution.
We have a way of looking ahead to give your office unlimited possibilities right now. When the rest say you can't, Canon says you can. Canon. Now you can.
Today, 19,000 people will start their day at sunrise. Thousands of fathers will hold their child for the first time. And millions of people will keep track of their time with a Citizen watch. In Paris, it's a Citizen Elegance. In the South Pacific, a Citizen ProMaster. But from Nepal to New York, more people depend on a watch made by Citizen than any other timepiece. Citizen watches how the world tells time.
New Year's Day is Championship Saturday on NBC as 10th-ranked Miami takes on Arizona in the IBM OS2 Fiesta Bowl. Then number 4 Notre Dame battles number 7 Texas A&M in the Mobile Cotton Bowl, followed by a primetime showdown for the national championship as number 1 Nebraska faces Heisman winner Charlie Ward and number 2 Florida State in the Federal Express Orange Bowl, New Year's Day.
Barry Foster on the left of your screen can only watch as his teammates trail the Houston Oilers 20-0.
Well, there have been some stinging commentaries in the local media about Barry Foster, saying that basically he sold out his team by opting for surgery now rather than trying to let that ankle heal, and one even called for Barry Foster to be traded. So there is plenty of controversy in Pittsburgh about his ankle. I don't know how you get down on a guy, though, about an injury when you really don't know for sure how bad it is.
Hastings takes the kickoff on the bounce and returns it to the 20-yard line. It's time for Pittsburgh's offense to step up if they can to get something done here, and it's been tough for them. 4 possessions, an interception, a punt, and a punt.
And that 9-play drive really wasn't all that dramatic. They picked up the first downs that seemed by a yard every single time. So Pittsburgh needs desperately a big play. Bill Cowher talked about how you have to be patient against the Buddy Ryan defense because big plays will come. Well, so far they have not.
O'Donnell's pass caught by Green. Shed one tackler and then plows ahead to the 35-yard line. Bubba McDowell finally wrestles him to the turf. Eric Green, the leading Steeler receiver, with his 45th reception of the season. It covers 14 yards.
And they finally got man coverage on Eric Green against Al Smith. They had been doubling him the entire game. He just simply runs into Smith, breaks away, makes a nice catch. Now the dilemma, trying to tackle a guy that weighs 280 pounds. Very difficult once he gets into the secondary.
Blitz from the Oilers. Thompson on the running play, stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
And Tom, you have the storyline of the game. The Pittsburgh Steelers simply unable to handle the pressure from the Oilers.
Miami up 1 on the Bills in that other huge AFC game today.
Second down, 10.
Keith Jackson with a touchdown reception from Scott Mitchell.
Looks like they're going at it pretty good down there.
O'Donnell overshoots Green, incomplete. O'Donnell went down. Wilbur Marshall all over him that time.
They're booing the Steelers offense, but I think it's more impressive what the Oilers defense is doing. If you just joined us, Buddy Ryan told us last night that if he did not get a head coaching job in the National Football League, he doubted whether or not he would be back as the defensive coordinator. Clearly his goal is to become a head coach again like he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know how they keep him out of a head coaching job.
4 wide receiver formation on 3rd down for the Steelers. O'Donnell bought some time with his roll, then has Graham, and Graham out of bounds at the Oiler 24-yard line. Bubba McDowell was beaten by Jeff Graham, 42 yards in the biggest Steeler play of the game.
Graham working out of the slot, gets singled up against Bubba McDowell. That's a mismatch, a strong safety on a fast wide receiver. Neil O'Donnell able to bide some time while rolling out of the pocket, and that may be the answer for Ron Earhart. When you roll your quarterback out of the pocket, you get a little more time for the wide receivers to work against that man-to-man coverage down the field. That time Graham able to take advantage.
His longest reception of the season. O'Donnell in the flat. Thompson one-on-one with a linebacker and taken down. Nice open field tackle by the veteran Wilbur Marshall. Chris Collinsworth's old high school teammate, right?
I went to high school with Wilbur Marshall. He was on, when I was a senior in high school, he was in the 9th grade, was out for JV basketball. First day of practice, he went up and dunked 2 basketballs in one flight. And the coach said, son, you're now on to varsity. Congratulations.
Wilbur Marshall, Astronaut High School, Titusville, Florida. O'Donnell again must roll and throws it away. Hodge was in the corner of the end zone, but O'Donnell, nothing else to do than get rid of it.
Ron Earhart may be staying with this pocket passing game just a little bit too long. We've seen the success come in the rollout. I know that hasn't been a big part of the Steelers offense in the past, but all the pressure from Buddy Ryan seems to be coming from between the tackles. If you can pin that rush to the inside, get your quarterback to the outside, you just give those wide receivers a little more time to work.
2 tight ends now. Adrian Cooper lined up in a wing to the right as Stone from the slot goes in motion. Play fake from O'Donnell, who rolls the other way and almost to an interception. Threw it right into the arms of a Houston defender, Wilbur Marshall, who couldn't hold on. Or was it McDowell?
Right, Bubba McDowell, and that was a horrible throw by Neil O'Donnell. Terrible decision. When you're rolling out away from the defense, you never want to throw back across the grain, especially late. And now Bill Cowher having to go for it on 4th down and 2 to try to get back in the football game.
This will be the 8th play of the Steeler drive, but they need desperately some points. The ball at the Oiler 16. It's 4th and 3. And timeout taken by the Steelers. Again, the play apparently taking too long to be signaled onto the field. The play clock ticking down, and the Oilers spend their 2nd timeout of the first half. And while we wait for play to resume, let's go to NFL Live and Jim Lampley.
Going at it pretty good indeed, Chris. Miami Buffalo is totally hot. Here's the latest Bills touchdown. Kenneth Davis from 12 yards out. His 2nd TD of the day gets the Bills to within 1 at 17-16. Davis has 5 rushing TDs this year, 1 more than teammate Thurman Thomas. Back to Tom and Chris.
Great game in Miami. A 1-point affair as it seesaws back and forth. And Kenneth Davis, no question, one of the best backup running backs in the NFL.
Yeah, it's so important, that football game, as they continue to battle it out in the Eastern Division. The Buffalo Bills, at least offensively, have not been themselves lately. Maybe this game and the warmth of Miami can snap them out of it.
Scott Mitchell with 2 touchdown passes as he returns to the Dolphin lineup. 15 yards to Mark Ingram and 16 to Keith Jackson. 4th and 3 for the Steelers from the 16 of the Oilers. O'Donnell's in trouble, but he has his man Graham at the 10. Graham takes a vicious hit, but holds on. Bubba McDowell popped him, but it'll be 1st down Steelers.
Well, turnabout is fair play for Jeff Graham. Remember earlier in the game, Bubba McDowell hit him and he dropped it. This time on 4th down and 3. Biggest play of the ball game so far for the Steelers. Graham takes a shot and holds on. Great play there by Jeff Graham.
Ball just inside the 10-yard line where it'll be 1st and goal. Graham with his 2nd catch, keeping the Steelers in business. 1st and goal just inside the 10. 2 tight ends. Here's Thompson with a head of steam, twisting and turning to the 5. Chris Dishman twisted Thompson down. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line.
Earhart going with his 2 big tight ends, Adrian Cooper and Eric Green, on the right side, and they're just pushing this Houston Oilers defense backwards, giving Thompson some room to maneuver. And finally, we're seeing some emotion, not only out of the crowd, but out of this Pittsburgh Steelers offense.
9 carries already for Thompson. This is 2nd and goal. Ball just short of the 5. Thompson again. Hodge gives him a block. but penetration from the defense will stop him at the 9 for a loss. Bubba McDowell came shooting through to make the tackle for the loss.
And that's what you lose without Barry Foster. Ron Earhart talked about the innate ability of Barry Foster to both run inside and outside. Well, the Steelers have still had success running inside, but when they try to go outside, it simply has not been there. Leroy Thompson, a good player, but not Barry Foster.
So now it will be 3rd and goal, and you see the ball all the way back to the 9-yard line. A 4-yard loss on that play. Stone in motion. O'Donnell for the end zone, and then just short of it, Green has it knocked loose. Chris Dishman again on the coverage for the Oilers, and it's 4th down, and the field goal unit comes out.
And that was a big miss by Eric Green because he weighs 280 pounds. Chris Dishman 180. No way was Chris Dishman going to be able to keep him out of the end zone if Eric Green can make that catch.
Dishman with a big defensive play for the Oilers. And so the field goal attempt from Gary Anderson. 26-yarder is good. Anderson has hit now 23 of 25 on the season. Finally, the Steelers are on the board, although only 3 points. Doesn't look so great at this time. Well, next Saturday, Christmas Day, and once the presents are opened, we have a treat for you. 3 presents of our own on NBC Sports, beginning with an NBA action. The hottest team, the Houston Rockets, taking on the defending Western champion Phoenix Suns. Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley in action starting at 2 o'clock Eastern time.
That's your game, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Day. That should be fun.
And then the Oilers will swing into action against Steve Young and the 49ers. Moon against Young, that's a dream matchup. Maybe a preview of the Super Bowl, the way those 2 teams are playing at the moment. Then we wind things up on Christmas Day in prime time. Shaquille O'Neal, is he ready for prime time? I think he's ready for whatever he wants. With Scottie Pippen and the Bulls, who come off a big victory over the Knicks a couple of days ago.
The Shaq could buy prime time right now.
That's all coming your way Christmas Day here on NBC. So there's somebody already ready for the NBA on NBC. NBA doubleheader sandwiched around the 49ers and the Oilers. Be nice to sit to the fire and watch it. From the 9, John Henry Mills returns the kickoff and powers to the 31-yard line. Tackled there by a host of Steelers, led by Randy Cuthbert, the rookie from Duke. Gary Anderson kicking the field goal to get Pittsburgh at last untracked.
Now let's watch what the Houston Oilers do. There's a player down on the field. That's Deon Figures, the #1 draft pick out of Colorado, and they really cannot afford to lose a cornerback when you're playing against the run and shoot. A tough day for injuries already. Webster Slaughter already out of the game with a knee injury. They feel like that Deon Figures is really going to become a good player. I talked to Dick LeBeau, the defensive backfield coach, yesterday, and he said the guy just has marvelous ball skills. He can make the interceptions. He's dangerous when he gets his hands on the ball. They think that he's going to be a player very much like Rod Woodson as he continues to develop.
Figures from Colorado, as you said, the first-round draft choice, 23rd player picked. He actually thought he would be taken in the top 5 or so, and one of the teams he least expected to take him, the Pittsburgh Steelers, already had such a strong secondary, but the 1992 Jim Thorpe Award winner, the All-American and Big 8 Defensive Player of the Year, wound up in gold and black.
Steelers have really tapped the University of Colorado. Deon Figures, Chad Brown, now they're starting inside linebacker, Joel Steed, all coming out of Colorado.
Willie Williams is the man that replaces Deon Figures. Williams, a rookie from Western Carolina, 6th-round draft choice. 2:37 left, first half. Gary Brown picking his way forward, bouncing off tacklers. Got 4 or 5 yards before Gary Jones finally got him to the turf, with Williams and Woodson there as well.
And the Steelers really need a stop here defensively. Not only can they not afford to allow Houston to put more points on the board, but they need to give their offense one more shot while they're hot. Offensively, that was a nice drive they put together the last time. They need to get the ball back in their hands.
Approaching the 2-minute warning. Gary Brown has carried 9 times for 52 yards. And we will reach the 2-minute warning without another play being run. Pause for the 2-minute warning with the Oilers up 20-3.
2 minutes remaining to be played.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Miami fans have had more than offense to cheer this year. On defense, number 51, Brian Cox. Number 91, Jeff Cross. And number 90, Marco Coleman, have become 3 of the best young defenders in the game. They're a trio of awesome sack masters who make Miami the best they can be.
Precious than gold, sweeter than the honey. They are more precious than gold. They make wine.
With 3 hours of breathtaking picture and sound on a single tape, and instant playback at the touch of a button, nothing portrays the moments that color our lives like a Sony Handycam camcorder. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Back in Pittsburgh, where it's 20-3 Oilers. Did you really ask Santa for one of those hats? That's pretty cool. I like that. I even like the dirt on the front of it.
Look at that one guy saying, I worked all week in the steel mill, and now I've got to watch this.
Stay with us at halftime. We'll have the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Jim Lampley, Mike Ditka. He's up to date on what's going on around the league, including that big matchup between the Bills and the Dolphins in Miami. 1 point the last time we looked. That's all coming up for you at halftime. It'll take for Warren Moon to pick on Willie Williams, the figures replacement. There's a pass complete to Duncan for a first down. He runs out of bounds.
About one play. Go right after Willie Williams. Warren Moon, the veteran quarterback, doesn't take him long to figure out where the weak spot is. Of course, you sit over there on the sideline and you get stiff after warming up before the game, and all of a sudden you're thrown right into the middle of the action. Willie Williams backing way off the receiver that time.
Moon again with great protection. Now it breaks down a little bit, so he must scramble. He still had the ball apparently on target, intended for Gary Brown. Maybe a little wide, but incomplete. Looked like it was catchable.
And Greg Lloyd is still down on the turf. I believe that's, yeah, Greg Lloyd. And I tell you what, if there is one guy they cannot lose on this defense, you're looking at him right there, Greg Lloyd. 2 sacks in that game on Monday night. Pro Bowler each of the last 2 years. Is the leading tackler on this Steelers defense by 30 tackles. Just chasing Gary Brown in man-to-man coverage, and
and a timeout for the Steelers.
I really didn't see anything.
Might have just pulled a muscle. He is just plain nasty. He's a taekwondo master. He's so good and so dangerous they don't even let him do little practice bouts with anyone else. And that was a catchable ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, right through his hands. I'm really at a loss for what happened to Gary Brown. I mean, to Greg Lloyd, excuse me. He is unquestionably the leader, the heart and soul of this defense. They asked him to make a change this year in the nickel, go away from being the pass rushing end because teams were simply going away from him. So they put him right in the middle of the field, a middle linebacker type position, and he gave up some of his numbers, gave up some of his sacks for the sake of this football team. Clearly their best player along with Rod Woodson.
Meanwhile, Deion Figures having his left ankle taped on the sideline. Perhaps he could return. Willie Williams, the rookie, has taken his place and already has seen Moon go right after him once. Let's update you on the Buffalo-Miami game once more. It's now Buffalo 19-17 on a Steve Christie 32-yard field goal as the Bills recapture the lead on the Dolphins.
And so much for the problems scoring points in the National Football League.
1:27 left in the first half at Joe Robbie Stadium.
Almost looks like it may be his back, or
he was holding the back of his thigh, it looked like. Wow. Now stepping very gingerly.
It's the right leg. Sort of kicked his right ankle with his left leg, but you wouldn't think that would be a problem.
Second down.
Hello.
Well, with 1:47 left in the half, that was a charged timeout on the injury to the Steelers. Their final timeout, Levon Kirkland has replaced Greg Lloyd. Moves pass behind the intended receiver, Gary Wellman, who was wide open. Wellman found a little seam there and had the distance.
I really like to watch Warren Moon work. Levon Kirkland just came in the game for Greg Lloyd, cold off the bench again, and he threw right at him, just threw behind the receiver. But Levon Kirkland is certainly not the athlete to play this nickel middle linebacker that Greg Lloyd is.
Big third down play coming up for the Steeler defense here, although they are out of timeouts. If they could get the ball back, maybe a chance for something before halftime. 1:42 left. Steelers show the blitz. Here they come, and it's incomplete. Blitz works. It forces Moon into a premature throw and what might have been another screen, and the Oilers will have to punt.
And maybe that'll give Don Capers a little confidence to try and come with that blitz a little more often. It's ironic that the next time they came back with Rod Woodson on the blitz, they had the screen called once again, this time unable to execute it.
This is the first Houston punt of the game. The dangerous Rod Woodson is deep as Montgomery is ready to boot it. Lloyd strained his hamstring, we're told. Good kick by Montgomery. Woodson will let it bounce, and it takes a sideways bounce and then rolls to the 7-yard line. Great coverage by the Oilers. 51-yard Montgomery punt downed inside the 10.
First and 10, Pittsburgh ball.
And the bad thing about a hamstring injury is sometimes it can take so long to heal, and oftentimes just never goes away throughout the course of your career. I doubt if they're going to take any chances with Greg Lloyd in this ball game. They're down 20-3 at the very least. They're going to go in at halftime and find out exactly what's wrong. But if you're going to have any shot to make the playoffs in Pittsburgh, Greg Lloyd has to be healthy.
4 wide receivers on for the Steelers, and O'Donnell in the shotgun. Very close to being sacked, and then is at the 1-yard line.
Big Glenn Montgomery, we talked about him earlier in the show. Really a very good front line. Neil O'Donnell said, you know, everybody talks about the blitzes from Buddy Ryan, the linebackers coming, but just watch the guys up front. Childress was the one that flushed him out of the pocket, and then Montgomery there to finishing him off.
Spot the ball at the 2. 1 minute left in the first half. O'Donnell in the shotgun, standing in his own end zone. Gets protection this time. Plenty of time. Down the sideline, he had 2 men right together, and I think it was intended for Hodge, and the ball was knocked away by the man just in front of him, Ernie Mills. I think Hodge was going to have the ball.
And he had a little room to operate as well. Tom, I've got to tell you, I'm not seeing much out of these Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers. They really are not giving a great effort as Neil O'Donnell was standing back in the pocket. It really looks like they're sort of running 3/4 speed in their route. And Neil O'Donnell's fighting for his life trying to find somebody, but these Houston Oilers defensive backs just have had him blanketed all day. That's really a weak spot on this Steelers team, a game-breaking wide receiver.
Third down play. Blitz comes. O'Donnell pass to Hodge on the screen, has a couple of blockers. Oh, he was just tripped up, or he might have gone all the way for the touchdown. Steve Jackson just tripped up Merrill Hodge.
Now they've got to get in the hurry-up mode. 22 seconds left. And the Steelers wasted all their timeouts earlier in the half. Remember when they got confused at the line of scrimmage? And now really have very little opportunity to try and move it on down the field.
Boy, that Hodge play, I think it might have gone.
Merrill Hodge coming across the grain, makes the block, then slips out on the screen. And they've really got this set up. Carlton Hasselrig out front, Duval Love with a block. And Dwight Stone is in position to pick off the last defender if Merrill Hodge could have made that last tackler miss.
Steve Jackson just tripped him up. O'Donnell steps up and delivers down the sideline for Graham. He's got it. But he stayed in bounds.
You have to hurry.
They don't have any timeouts left.
Got to get it stopped. The Oilers are walking down the field.
51 yards, but Graham didn't go out of bounds. Oh, my.
I don't think so. I think they're going to call it the end of the half. The Oilers were making an effort. They were jogging at least. Now it's purely at the discretion of the officials. Did the Oilers make a full-hearted effort to get back?
Penalty marker down.
The offense did not get set. Therefore, we're going to have a 10-second runoff, which ends the half.
Offense was not set. That's the end of the half. Graham didn't fight to get out of bounds.
And anytime you have an offensive penalty with less than 10 seconds to go in the half, they'll run the clock, run out the half, and that's exactly what happened in this situation. It doesn't matter that there was 1 second on the clock. You have a 10-second runoff with an offensive penalty.
And let's go to Jim Lampley in New York now for the Domino's Pizza halftime report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
And we welcome those of you who have been watching the Oilers and their surprising first-half performance against Pittsburgh. Let's turn our attention to the sensational game being played in Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, where the Bills have a 26-17 lead over the Dolphins as halftime approaches. The Dolphins, as you know, beset by injuries, most notably starting linebacker John Offerdahl inactive again today with an injured hamstring. Bills scored first to make it 6-0, botched the PAT. Mitchell answers for Miami with the 15-yard touchdown pass to Ingram. Dolphins led 7-6 in the first. 7-6 Miami still as Dolphins defensive end Marco Coleman is called for roughing Jim Kelly on a 25-yard Kelly completion to Andre Reed. Miami linebacker Brian Cox gets into a heated exchange with Kelly. The penalty on Coleman helped set up the Steve Christie field goal that gave Buffalo a 9-7 lead. Second quarter, 10-9 Miami, following a J.B. Brown play.
Yeah, it really does. Anytime you get a break like that right before the half, have a chance to build a little bit of momentum going into halftime when you're so far behind, and then to make a boneheaded play like that really hurts.
Let's take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats now and see just how total the Oiler domination has been. Remember that last pass play of 51 yards somewhat skewed the numbers.
Only one turnover, of course. That was the big one, the Neil O'Donnell interception, in which Bo Orlando went in for the touchdown.
Time of possession pretty close to even there, huh?
Pretty close, yeah. 15 minutes apiece.
Is all lost for the Steelers now as they approach the second half down by 17?
Well, this certainly is not a team that you like to be in a position to have to come from behind. Throwing the football has not been their strength. Neil O'Donnell has had the problems with his arm. Maybe the wide receivers got a little chewing out at halftime. Might come out with a little more life here in the second half.
Certainly the Oilers look every bit as advertised, looking for their 9th win in a row. They have been superb on both sides of the football through the first half of play. And remember, a victory today by the Oilers would give them a sweep of their divisional opponents and give them the outright championship in the AFC Central. Del Greco to kick off to get the second frame underway.
Hastings back to receive for Pittsburgh.
That will sail into the end zone where Hastings will down it. And O'Donnell and company will take over at the 20-yard line, trying to get something going.
Perhaps O'Donnell, who really was not able, the numbers are not good for Neil O'Donnell, just 9 of 22, but a lot of that not his fault. Pressure in his face all day long, and really not many places to throw the football down the field.
Right to the air. And on target to Green. Wrestled down by Al Smith after a gain of 8 or 9 yards.
If Buddy Ryan is going to continue to cover Eric Green with man coverage, I don't know why they would run another play. Eric Green just too big and too quick to be covered by Al Smith in the middle of the field. They had been double teaming Eric Green early in this one, double teamed him the entire first game that they played, and I would expect they'll go back to that.
Running play, Leroy Thompson gets the first down, then is ridden back with Smith again at the point of attack. It'll be, though, a Steeler first down.
Al Smith always very impressive against the run, the middle linebacker for the Oilers. He's led this team in tackles in 6 of the 13 games. He came in tied with Marcus Robertson, the free safety, who of course now is out after knee surgery. But Al Smith has anchored this defense for many years now in Houston.
Well, when the Oilers have the ball, they've pretty much gone up and down the field on the Steelers, and 2 key figures, Deion Figures and Greg Lloyd, have been injured in the first half, will not return. Here's a play-action pass from O'Donnell. Off target, intended for Stone. And Stone drew a crowd that time.
Tom, this is really what I'm talking about with Dwight Stone. He's running right beside Wilbur Marshall. Wilbur Marshall is a great athlete, but Dwight Stone runs 4.25. And you see him, just kind of gearing across the field there, not really sprinting. I think Neil O'Donnell threw that ball in the right place. When you've got a guy as fast as Dwight Stone, you have to anticipate that he's going to run around the linebacker there.
Are they intimidated?
Looks like it.
Blitz comes and stops Thompson in his tracks. Loss on the play. There's Al Smith again. Former Utah State Aggie.
Had a big play a couple of years ago against the Steelers as well. Returned a fumble 70 yards for a touchdown that against the Steelers that helped them clinch the division back in 1991. Always a big play guy on that defensive side of the ball. He allows you to do so many different things in the secondary, but you can count on Al Smith to clog up the middle on the run.
Been the leading tackler for the last 6 years for the Oilers. And do they miss Barry Foster? There's your answer. End around to Stone, trying to get a block from Searcy. Stopped short of the first down. Blaine Bishop, who is the nickelback for the Oilers, stopping Stone on the end around, a play they run often. No surprise, really. He is the 4th leading rusher. That's his 11th carry.
And Stone began his career as a running back. That's why he wears the number 20. He was trying to slow down there to set up a block. May have been better served just trying to run and reach the corner for the first down.
Yeah, Bishop caught him from behind. So Royals to punt on the Steelers' first possession of the second half. Willie Drury, the deep man for the Oilers. Sailing punt by Royals that Drury will fair catch at the 24-yard line. So it's like the Rockettes.
Following a J.B. Brown.
Yeah, it really does. Anytime you get a break like that right before the half, have a chance to build a little bit of momentum going into halftime when you're so far behind, and then to make a boneheaded play like that really hurts.
Let's take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats now and see just how total the Oiler domination has been. Remember that last pass play of 51 yards somewhat skewed the numbers.
Only 1 turnover, of course. That was the big one, the Neil O'Donnell interception, in which Bo Orlando went in for the touchdown.
Time of possession pretty close to even there, huh?
Pretty close, yeah. 15 minutes apiece.
Is all lost for the Steelers now as they approach the second half down by 17?
Well, this certainly is not a team that you like to be in a position to have to come from behind. Throwing the football has not been their strength. Neil O'Donnell has had the problems with his arm. Maybe the wide receivers got a little chewing out at halftime. Might come out with a little more life here in the second half.
Certainly the Oilers look every bit as advertised, looking for their 9th win in a row. They have been superb on both sides of the football through the first half of play. And remember, a victory today by the Oilers would give them a sweep of their divisional opponents and give them the outright championship in the AFC Central. Del Greco to kick off to get the second frame underway.
Hastings back to receive for Pittsburgh.
That will sail into the end zone where Hastings will down it. And O'Donnell and company will take over at the 20-yard line, trying to get something going.
Perhaps O'Donnell, who really was not able, the numbers are not good for Neil O'Donnell, just 9 of 22, but a lot of that not his fault. Pressure in his face all day long, and really not many places to throw the football down the field.
Right to the air, and on target to Green. Wrestled down by Al Smith after a gain of 8 or 9 yards.
If Buddy Ryan is going to continue to cover Eric Green with man coverage, I don't know why they would run another play. Eric Green just too big and too quick to be covered by Al Smith in the middle of the field. They had been double teaming Eric Green early in this one, double teamed him the entire first game that they played, and I would expect they'll go back to that.
Running play, Leroy Thompson gets the first down, then is ridden back with Smith again at the point of attack. It'll be, though, a Steeler first down.
Al Smith always very impressive against the run, the middle linebacker for the Oilers. He's led this team in tackles in 6 of the 13 games. He came in tied with Marcus Robertson, the free safety, who of course now is out after knee surgery. But Al Smith has anchored this defense for many years now in Houston.
Well, when the Oilers have the ball, they've pretty much gone up and down the field. The Steelers and 2 key figures, Deion Figures and Greg Lloyd, have been injured in the first half, will not return. Here's a play-action pass from O'Donnell. Off target, intended for Stone. And Stone drew a crowd that time.
Tom, this is really what I'm talking about with Dwight Stone. He's running right beside Wilbur Marshall. Wilbur Marshall is a great athlete, but Dwight Stone runs 4.25. And you see him just kind of gearing across the field there, not really sprinting. I think Neil O'Donnell threw that ball in the right place. When you've got a guy as fast as Dwight Stone, you have to anticipate that he's going to run around the linebacker there.
Are they intimidated?
Looks like it.
Blitz comes and stops Thompson in his tracks. Loss on the play. There's Al Smith again. Former Utah State Aggie.
Had a big play a couple of years ago against the Steelers as well. Returned a fumble 70 yards for a touchdown that against the Steelers that helped them clinch the division back in 1991. Always a big play guy on that defensive side of the ball. He allows you to do so many different things in the secondary, but you can count on Al Smith to clog up the middle on the run.
Been the leading tackler for the last 6 years for the Oilers. And do they miss Barry Foster? There's your answer. End around to Stone, trying to get a block from Searcy. Stopped short of the first down. Blaine Bishop, who is the nickelback for the Oilers, stopping Stone on the end around, a play they run often. No surprise, really. He is the 4th leading rusher. That's his 11th carry.
And Stone began his career as a running back. That's why he wears the number 20. He was trying to slow down there to set up a block. May have been better served just trying to run and reach the corner for the first down.
Yeah, Bishop caught him from behind. So Royals to punt on the Steelers' first possession of the second half. Willie Drury, the deep man for the Oilers. Sailing punt by Royals that Drury will fair catch at the 24-yard line. So it's like the Rockettes. 1-2-3 kick for the Steelers. We'll be back.
When you choose a family car, you put all your eggs in one basket. So, when it came to safety engineering, from standard dual airbags to side impact protection, Mitsubishi did the same thing. Introducing the all-new 1994 Mitsubishi Galant with some of the most comprehensive safety engineering of any car in its class. Lease a new Galant S now for just $500 down and $199 a month.
Geronimo thunders across the big screen like a herd of wild horses.
Jason Patrick, Robert Duvall, Gene Hackman, and Wes Studi as Geronimo. Rated PG-13. At theaters now.
When regular drills hold you back, send in the Ranger cordless drill from Black & Decker. It goes anywhere to handle all the tough jobs. No strings attached. The Ranger cordless drill, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
Will we claim the new Norelco razor shaves closer than ever without hundreds of tests to back it up? Say our new precision groove helps the Norelco lift and cut system shave closer without proof? No. We wouldn't say it's our closest shave ever without science, sensors, tests. But of all the tests that prove it's closer, the most convincing requires a personal touch. The new Norelco razors, our closest shave ever.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Starter, authentic apparel and headwear of the NFL. By Mitsubishi, test drive the all-new 1994 Mitsubishi Galant. By the new Norelco razors, our closest shave ever. And by Black & Decker, the source of powerful gift ideas.
So when you're down 20-3, it seems even colder at Three Rivers Stadium. And the Steelers, faced with this big game against the Oilers today, have been unable to get much done. Houston with his first possession of the second half. Willie Williams replacing Deion Figures in the secondary. As Gary Brown on the ground gains 3 yards. Tackled in by Gary Jones and Joel Steed. And the question is, what's happened to the Pittsburgh defense?
Well, not only has the offense had their share of problems, but defensively in the last few games, they simply have not been as sharp either. The first 9 ball games allowing just 15 points a game, and lately they have been allowing a few more points, more than 8 points extra per game in the last 4.
Levon Kirkland is taking Greg Lloyd's place at a linebacker spot right in the middle of the defense. Draw play. Brown, well, he might have fumbled, but it came right back to him. He'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. Well, if he fumbled or not, if it did, it bounced right back in his arms.
And the Steelers now going with a 3-man front and 2 linebackers. Probably feeling like that with Greg Lloyd out of the lineup, they had to put both their linebackers, Chad Brown and Levon Kirkland, in the game to try and stop Gary Brown. At this point in the ball game, Gary Brown and his first down runs has really been the biggest difference.
61 yards earlier against the Steelers. He gained 79, the most by any running back against the Pittsburgh defense this season. And faced with a play clock running down, Warren Moon will take a Houston timeout. Comes with 10:50 left in the third quarter, and Gilbride's offense facing a 3rd and 1.
Kevin Gilbride's made a lot of good calls today, has really done a nice job of guessing with the defense from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and boy, has this offense been so much better than what they were in the first 5 ball games.
Well, coming up on New Year's Day, Bowl Day here on NBC. It begins with the IBM OS2 Fiesta Bowl, the explosive offense of Miami against the Desert Swarm defense of Arizona. Then the Mobile Cotton Bowl. Lou Holtz, 4th-ranked Irish, he wants to know why they're not considered for the national championship. They only lost once to Florida State. They'll take on the 7th-rated Aggies of Texas A&M. And then for the national championship, the Federal Express Orange Bowl, matching Nebraska and Florida State. That's our bowl lineup New Year's Day, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time here on NBC. Well, the crowd with one last attempt to rally this Pittsburgh team. The defense trying to stop the Oilers on 3rd and 1, and they cannot do it, although the ball is loose. And the Steelers have recovered. Brown fumbled, and there are black shirts all over it.
Uh-oh. Don't let them get riled up in Pittsburgh now. Gary Brown takes a shot. The first one from Woodson, and then Levon Kirkland stripped him of the football. And this Pittsburgh Steelers offense finally gets a much-needed break.
Now they've got to convert it into points. Thompson dodges one man, taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Al Smith with another big defensive play for Houston.
And Tom, what we're seeing is that the Houston Oilers defense is simply too quick for this Pittsburgh offense. They're trying to run a lot of the counter OTs, pulling offensive linemen, and the linebackers and the defensive linemen from the Houston Oilers are able to get in behind the pulling linemen and make the plays.
Al Smith made that one, as he has often today.
He's the quarterback on that defense.
From the 37, it's 2nd and 10. Play action this time. O'Donnell fakes a throw back across the field, looks down the sideline and throws it away. Hodge and Stone were down that sideline, but the Oilers had pretty good coverage. Let's go to Jim Lampley now, NFL Live, for another update.
And more fireworks in Miami, Tom. Early second half, Scott Mitchell is going to throw the ball to Keith Jackson. Jackson hooks up against Nate Odoms, and the NFL leader in interceptions, Nate Odoms with 8. Here picks up the fumble, goes 25 yards. Buffalo leads 33-20 over the Dolphins. Back to Tom and Chris.
All right, Jim, thanks. What a game that is, and Buffalo taking command with its defense.
They always play so well in Miami.
3rd and 10 here for the Steelers. Blitz comes, picked up, and now O'Donnell caught from behind and taken down by Lamar Lathan.
Lathan with great speed, 4.5 speed. That's running back speed, and he just simply came around the pile. He's been hard hit with the flu this week. Some doubt as to whether or not he would be effective in this ball game. Gets up and just simply runs Neil O'Donnell down from behind. Nice play by Lamar Lathan.
And now Mark Royals is on to punt. Would you go for it here? It would be 4th and 9.
I don't think so, Tom. I think you give your punt team a chance, pin them back in there. This is a good decision.
Royals punt. Hits at the 5 and bounces to the 1, where it's down by the Steelers. It was a good decision. Now the defense will have to hold him. Brian Hinkle, the veteran.
Tom, I think what they're going to rule is that the man that downed the football, his foot was on the end line. At least there was one official that started to wave for a touchback. If Levon Kirkland's foot was on the line when he downed the ball, it would be a touchback.
They're going to leave it there.
Very close. Watch number 99, Levon Kirkland. Does his foot touch the line when he downs the ball? Close.
The Gulf of Mexico, where world-class fishermen like Jim come to battle the big boys.
Jim, you got one.
Yeah, hey, this calls for a celebration. How about a cold O'Doul?
Thanks.
Only 70 calories and non-alcohol. Because out here, you never know what's biting.
When you want the refreshing taste of beer without all the alcohol, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
There's a lot about the new Galant that you may not know. Like being first in its class with dual airbags, standard. In fact, after Automobile Magazine scrutinized the all-new Galant, it said it may be the most car per dollar in its class. A class, we might add, that includes Accord and Camry. The all-new 1994 Mitsubishi Galant. Lease a new Galant S now for just $500 down and $199 a month.
You don't even want to know about Barry Sanders, man. He does things on the field that just makes your eyes go all crazy. One time, I saw him running right through people like a cannonball loose inside a pinball machine. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah. And then Barry did this move. Sometimes I still see it when I sleep. And I don't sleep that much.
Guy and his much maligned Pittsburgh special teamers making the play that time, downing the football at the 1-yard line. If Pittsburgh's going to have a chance to come back, this is where they're going to have to start, by holding the Oilers deep in their own territory. straight ahead and gets about 3 yards. Green and Evans tackling Gary Brown.
And Dom Capers was telling us yesterday that the biggest difference between Gary Brown at running back and Lorenzo White is when Gary Brown first gets hit, he still manages to pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards, and that's exactly what happened on that play. See if they come with a blitz.
No blitz. Moon's pass dropped. Brown couldn't hold on. It'll be 3rd down.
And probably part of the reason that Dom Capers doesn't want to blitz in this situation is he's got his 2 young inside linebackers in the game, and Chad Brown and Levon Kirkland. Greg Lloyd is out of the game with a pulled hamstring, probably not feeling that they can make the coverage one-on-one the way that Greg Lloyd could.
3rd and 7 from the 4-yard line. Only 2 of 7. One of the few weak spots of the Oilers today. Blitz comes. Moon fires, incomplete. Intended for Gary Wellman, a little high. There's Levon Kirkland, who is coming from his linebacker spot to put the pressure on Warren Moon.
Dom Capers rolling the dice and sending the blitz here. Wellman was open, but Warren Moon just overthrew it.
So now Montgomery will have to punt from the back of his own end zone. Rod Woodson will await the punt at the Steeler 46-yard line. At the Houston 46. Montgomery gets it out and on its way to Woodson at his own 48. Woodson slips and falls and is covered there after an 8-yard return of Montgomery's 47-yarder. And the Steelers will take over in Houston territory.
When they told him he didn't have the size to play, he reached inside and found the power. He was from a small school in a small town, but he had the heart to make it big. Each had a dream, and when you start with a dream, where you end up is up to you.
Since your face can't adjust to your razor should adjust to your face, which is exactly why we designed the Schick Tracer. The Schick Tracer is the only razor with blades that bend and flex to the unique shape of your face. So the Tracer gets in close for a clean, comfortable shave. And since you can't change your face, maybe you should change your razor. Schick, we're changing the face of shaving.
For the price of basic transportation, the Mitsubishi Eclipse will take you way beyond basic. Now lease a '94 Eclipse for as little as $179 a month with only $500 down. Or buy with the ease of leasing. Ask about the Diamond Advantage plan. The Eclipse from Mitsubishi. The new thinking in automobiles.
Jim Lampley again in New York. More Buffalo boisterousness in Miami after a Matt Darby interception off Mitchell. Kenneth Davis's 3rd TD of the day, this time from 1 yard out. Buffalo leads 40-20. Steve DeBerg has replaced Mitchell at the controls for the Dolphins. Back to Three Rivers.
All right, Jim, thanks. Buffalo's defense leads the NFL in turnovers and takeaways. And that defense has broken the game open for them in Miami. Here, first down for the Steelers from the 42 of the Oilers. Good field position. Cooper dropped it. Is that a reception and a fumble? The ball still being batted around. Could be a live ball. The Oilers have it at the 40-yard line. It is an Oiler recovery of a completed pass.
Oh, my first reaction to that one is it didn't look like a completion. Take another look. I don't think that Cooper ever had possession of the ball. That's a bad call. Adrian Cooper never had possession of the ball. He was constantly fumbling around with it, and the officials have just blown a big call in this ball game. That was a drop by Cooper and not a fumble. The crowd knows it, and if the officials have peeked at the replay board here in the stadium, they now know it too.
Cowher can't buy a break today. It's rule of fumble. Oilers ball at the Steeler 40. What a huge turnaround of events there.
Terrible call.
Moon can't find anyone and throws it away.
Rules, pass incomplete, second down.
The Houston Oilers have really done a job lately in turning the football over. 8 in the first 5, 8 in the next 4, and 19 now in the last 4 games. If you want to know how teams win championships, take a look at that number in red.
And the Oilers are second to the Buffalo Bills in forced turnovers. Pittsburgh is third.
And there is the turnover master himself, Buddy Ryan. That's how he gets it done.
Moon to Brown. Nice cutback. He got away from 2 men, then is tripped up at the 30. That'll be close to the first down. Chad Brown finally got him to the turf.
By Chad Brown.
And Gary Brown is a guy you wonder how in the world did this guy last until the 8th round of the draft. Well, his senior year at Penn State, he had a broken foot after 3 games, and he really didn't get a chance to show off his skills. He's a little bowling ball, though, very low to the ground, 5'11", 229 pounds, and very difficult to knock off his feet.
When he was coming along, the featured back was the captain of the Nittany Lions, Leroy Thompson. Now, the starting running back for the Steelers. Moon scrambles and slides to the 25-yard line. Levon Kirkland forced him to scramble. Moon turns it into a yard-gaining play, gain of 5.
And I'm sure that Jack Pardee had his heart in his throat as Warren Moon took off. Wasn't it last year or a couple of years ago that Warren Moon on a scramble like this got a dislocated shoulder or some pretty serious injury at the end of the season? When you have a team that's on a roll, possibly on their way to winning their 9th straight, you certainly do not want to see Warren Moon take too many chances.
Second down, the ball is just short of the Steeler 25 already. Oilers in command by 17. Lake put the pressure on Moon, and he still found Wellman for the completion, an Oiler first down. Willie Williams knocked him out of bounds, but there's Wellman with his 16th catch of the season.
Wellman caught 105 passes in his career at the University of Southern California, but Warren Moon is the guy that makes it. They come with the double corner blitz. Carnell Lake is there. Warren Moon escapes and gets it off to Wellman for a big first down. They have made Pittsburgh pay for the pressure all day.
Just under 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Houston threatening to add to its lead. Steelers show the blitz, and one of the offensive linemen of the Oilers flinched. It might have been David Williams.
Ball starts. Number 73 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Of course, David Williams will be forever known for the Babygate incident. He stayed at home while the team traveled to New England to help his wife through childbirth. And ironically, Jack Pardee made the statement that he thought that whole Babygate incident really helped pull this offensive line together, and that after that, they started playing much better.
That began their string of 8 in a row as they came off a bye week and struggled, but won against New England. They had a screen set up, but the Steelers were ready for it, so Moon must throw it away. Donald Evans was chasing Warren Moon and tackled him as he let the ball go. There's a penalty marker on the play.
And the flag came in the secondary. I was watching the secondary, really didn't see anybody. It looks like
illegal downfield. Huh?
Well, it wouldn't be against Pittsburgh.
I thought they were ruling it against Houston.
They did, but he pointed down towards Pittsburgh, and Rod Woodson's going to give him a very simple explanation that that would be against the offense. They already had a first down and 15.
Woodson saying no to whatever the signal is coming from Bill Cowher. No, it's against them, he said. Did you see that?
Sometimes I wonder why they bothered to ask the players.
Receiver, downfield, number 73 on the offense. Penalty is declined. Second down.
Second down.
Because you always see the captain on the defense just always looking over at the coach anyway. Just go over and ask Bill Cowher, do you want it or not? Brad Hopkins, the rookie, downfield too soon.
Of course, this Oiler offense without leading receiver Webster Slaughter with a torn medial collateral ligament in his knee. That occurred in the first half. Moon with time. On one knee to take the ball is Ernest Givens.
Moves pass to Givens.
Jim Lampley's been busy today. Let's put him to work again for another update. Jim?
And I've been busy because those boisterous Bills just won't quit. After Mike Lotish recovers a Keith Byers fumble, Jim Kelly capitalizes down the middle to Don Beatty. Back in September, the Bears scored 47 against the Bucks. Now Buffalo has 47 against Miami, and Miami only 20 in the third. Back to Tom and Chris.
You know, Tom, I think there are just too many points scored in the National Football League. Now, it's getting disgusting.
What's wrong with football? Too many points. Moves, scrambles effectively for the end zone and incomplete. Threw it away. Haywood Jeffries closest to it, and you know, Warren Moon had that benching. We talked about it earlier. Hurt his pride a little bit, no question, but he did admit that it probably motivated him. He looks to me like he's back to his old self based on his performance here today.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes, you know, we were talking to him last night. I said, you know, Warren, you're 36, 37 years old, and you're at the end of your career, and you obviously still want to win a championship, but it probably did. Just fired him up a little bit and reconvinced him that he really did want to play the game of football, and his pride was definitely wounded sitting there on the bench.
Threw that one away to preserve this field goal attempt for Del Greco. And from 33 yards out, Del Greco boots it through. So the Oilers take advantage of an apparent blown call by the officials to push their lead back to 20.
The engineers of Mitsubishi have some remarkable ways to measure quality, to check and recheck for even the slightest flaw. Because the truest measure of a luxury performance sedan is not only what it comes with, but also what it comes without. The 1994 Diamante by Mitsubishi. Lease a Diamante ES for just $1,500 down and $333 a month.
Don't you wish we could just do this to air pollution? In a way we can. If homes and industries, power plants and vehicles would just switch to natural gas. Clean, economical, natural gas. Think what we'll save.
From Hollywood Pictures. I want your blood. The Clanton gang figured they owned the town. But they never figured on Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday.
Maybe you better swear me in.
Together, they brought justice to the West.
You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me!
Tombstone, rated R. Starts Saturday, December 25th.
Christmas afternoon, the presents have all been opened, except for 3 from NBC. First, the NBA's most dominant player, Akeem Olajuwon, leads the Rockets against Charles Barkley and the Suns. Then, a possible Super Bowl preview as the Oilers battle the 49ers. And Shaquille O'Neal goes prime time as the Magic meet the world champion Bulls. All Christmas Day on NBC.
4:14 left in the third quarter. If that 23-3 looks familiar, that was the score of the first meeting between these two teams in the Astrodome 3 weeks ago. That was the final, and the way the Oilers are playing, that may not be enough today. Short kickoff by Del Greco, taken by Hastings. Spins his way to the 24-yard line where the Steelers will take over. Special teams tackle there made by Terry Hogue, one of the recent additions to this Oiler lineup. Hogue, the 10-year veteran from Georgia, just signed on the 15th of December. Marcus Robertson injured and out for the season, and Terry Hogue signed.
If I were over there on the sideline, I'd give Dwight Stone a good chewing out. Tell him you've got one-on-one coverage. We've got to come to you. You've got to use your speed. You've got to start running your patterns full out. And you've got to try to get us back in this game.
Dishman has him one-on-one. Stone breaks it off that time as they go to the other side to Graham for a first down catch. Covered 12 yards.
And that time Stone really drove off the football. Graham made the catch on the other side, but it's the first time that I've really seen Dwight Stone crank it into gear. When you've got that kind of speed, if you'll just run full speed off the ball, you'll make Chris Dishman back off, and at the very least give your quarterback an opportunity to throw some balls underneath. But I think Neil O'Donnell has lost a little faith in him.
And just a note, Jeff Graham did go out of bounds that time. O'Donnell, bullet, complete to the 48-yard line. Graham with his second consecutive catch. That's 5 in the game for Jeff Graham. He's over 100 yards receiving.
And he led the Steelers in receiving last year, working one-on-one against Steve Jackson. Does a good job of keep coming towards the football, but too often you're seeing the Steelers receivers, when they're coming out of their break, begin to chop it down a little bit. Against man coverage, as soon as you make your break, you've got to sprint. You've got to get away from people.
Graham was the intended receiver again that time and was bumped a little bit, as was O'Donnell as he released the football. Bishop and Orlando had double coverage on Graham.
And the other thing is that Eric Green is still getting single coverage from Al Smith. It's time to go back to your big tight end. When things look their bleakest, if you've got a guy that weighs 280 pounds and can catch the football the way Eric Green does, every time they've attempted to pass to him this afternoon, he's had success on that little option route against Al Smith.
Green is lined up as the tight end on the left as Stone comes in motion from that side. O'Donnell rolls to his right and falls, then is covered with a sack on the play. Coming with a blitz, the Oilers were all over O'Donnell. He slipped, and then Marshall pounced on him.
And I put the blame on this one on Neil O'Donnell. They picked up the blitz. He had room in the pocket, but he just got a little bit out of control. I think he saw it coming, thought he was going to get hit, but they really had it pretty well picked up front. Neil O'Donnell maybe panicked when he saw it coming.
Third sack of the day for the Houston defense. And now O'Donnell faces a 3rd and 18. 3 sacks for Ryan's D. O'Donnell heaves it wide open. Making the catch is Mills. And Mills breaks free. There's a flag down, and Mills inside the Oiler 10.
One of the dumber penalties you're ever going to see in the National Football League. Ernie Mills, with his great speed, is out in front of Chris Dishman, and Eric Green comes up and just nails him from behind, and it's going to come back.
What bonehead play have the Steelers not made today?
Well, I tell you, give credit to the Houston Oilers for the way that they've played, but the Steelers have really helped their cause this afternoon. So desperate for big plays against this Oilers defense. You finally get one.
Illegal block in the back. Number 86. We will assess the penalty from the spot of the fall.
And you do that. Mills makes the catch on the sideline. Does a nice job of getting away from Dishman. Good pattern, good route. He's open, gets away. And now Dishman completely out of the play, and Eric Green's going to push him right in the back. No question.
Assessed from the spot of the foul, put the ball at the 36. O'Donnell's pass incomplete for Stone. Time to go back to NFL Live, Jim.
Well, Tom, I'm not really giving you a live play-by-play of Miami Buffalo. It only seems that way. After 4 Miami turnovers led to 28 Buffalo points, the Dolphins finally answered. To Berg, to Terry Kirby. He goes in from 30 yards out. That makes it 47-27. Kirby leads all running backs in the league in catches and yards. Back to Tom and Chris.
All right, Jim, the scoreboard's going to blow a fuse down there if they keep on at that pace.
You wonder if we have yet another quarterback controversy, now this time in Miami.
Green receives the pass and shakes the tackler, and Eric Green, taunting as he goes, will reach the end zone and then pushes, and a flag comes down. He pushed Dishman after he'd scored the touchdown as he taunted him all the way into the end zone, and somebody needs to settle down Eric Green.
Eric Green felt like he got a late hit on the play from Chris Dishman, and they're going to go at it again. Dishman's got a lot of nerve at 188 pounds going up against that tree, and Eric Green's not happy. He knew that he hurt his team on the play before, and Chris Dishman, somebody better get him out of there before he gets killed.
Dishman, of course, has a reputation as being the trash-talking king of the Oiler defense. And as Green was waltzing toward the end zone, he was pointing and taunting Dishman. And then when the play was over, Green gave him a shove. Now, I don't know who the penalty is going to be against, perhaps offsetting, but...
Now, it should not affect the touchdown because the flag did not come out until they started pushing in the end zone. So it's not going to affect the touchdown. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the call goes against Dishman for a late hit or against Eric Green for retaliation. I did think it was a late hit, even though that he had taunted him.
We have unsportsmanlike conduct on number 28 on the defense. We will assess it on the kickoff, 15 yards.
I think that's a good call. He clearly hit him late in the end zone, even though he did get taunted along the way.
Green was in danger of negating the advantage there as he took another couple of shoves to Dishman. He should have taken what turned out to be a penalty and put the Steelers right back in business after that 36-yard touchdown. Anderson puts it through. Well, maybe the Steelers aren't dead yet. They still trail by 2 scores, 13 points. Let's watch that whole sequence again.
Eric Green, when he gets out in the open field, just so hard to bring down, and a defensive back like Bo Orlando is never going to be able to get it done. Overpowers him. Now watch him begin to taunt Chris Dishman. Dishman didn't like it. He's going to come over, take a cheap shot, and now here we go. Dishman, don't turn your back now, man. Don't turn your back now. Eric Green with a finger in the eye, and here we go.
Meanwhile, back upfield, Neil O'Donnell took a hit as he delivered the football. Now, he didn't take a hit. He just pulled up lane, didn't he?
He may have pulled a hamstring as well. That looks like it's it. Neil O'Donnell is giving it the no moss call, like he doesn't want to go back in or he can't play anymore.
Mike Tomczak, of course, is the backup for the Steelers. He was involved in a pushing and shoving match in the first game between the two, and there's O'Donnell. Cowers trying to find out if he can go.
Looks like his hip, perhaps, and he really didn't get hit on the play. And if you read Bill Cowers' lips, he just said Mike, calling for Mike Tomczak. So it looks like Tomczak will be in the next time that the Steelers get the ball.
Anderson kicking off from short range after the penalty, down by Drury in the end zone. There's Tomczak loosening up. He'll be on the next time the Steelers get the football, but first, the defense must stop the Oilers.
And it is going to get interesting when Mike Tomczak comes in the game. The last time these two teams met, he threw an interception and then cut blocked at Michael Barrow's knees. Barrow got up, started hitting Tomczak in the face, ended up getting a $5,000 fine from the league. These two teams claim there's no bad blood between them because of it, but you know that there is.
Moon will set 3 of his 4 wide receivers to the top of the screen and now changes the play as the crowd makes it difficult to communicate. Moon's pass caught. Wellman makes the catch. First down at the 35-yard line. Tackled by Gary Jones. O'Donnell has a strained muscle in his hip. His return still in doubt when the Steelers get the ball back. Second first down catch by Gary Wellman.
Wellman has looked good in replacement of Webster Slaughter today. That's what you need when you get injuries late in the season, somebody to come off the bench and pick you up. And that's what Gary Wellman's done today.
a nice run. Touchback. Brown all the way to the 45-yard line. Only Rod Woodson could chase him down, and then a late flag.
Flag on the play.
About the only thing this could be is a face mask.
Which it is.
Tom, it is unbelievable the difference.
We have a 5-yard face mask penalty on the defense, number 26. We'll add 5 yards to the end of the run. First down.
The difference in this Oilers offense with Gary Brown in there, because you have so many defensive backs in the game. You have a big fullback type when he gets his hands on the ball, breaks tackles, gets in the secondary, and really intimidates people. You see Rod Woodson there with the face mask.
20-yard run, 5 yards on the face mask penalty. First down Oilers at the Steeler 40. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Boone is sacked. Carnell Lake on the blitz. Kevin Green finished him off.
Well, Carnell Lake has already posted career highs this season in sacks. That will be his 5th, and in interceptions. 4. Carnell Lake is playing some games now with Warren Moon. He looked like he was going to drop back in coverage, came with the delayed blitz, made the offensive lineman miss, and came up with a sack on Warren Moon.
And that play will bring the third quarter to a close. That's the end of the third quarter in Pittsburgh. The Oilers leading. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Now, John Wayne Bobbitt's first television interview.
When they say it's possible you may be crippled sexually for the rest of your life, how does that make you feel?
Now, NBC Wednesday.
Up with the first night, the touch of your hand, making it right, you know on the inside, you're staying with it for the long run. Jenny, got some history together, Jenny, for people like you.
Boscov's Pick-A-Gift Days. 9 sensational bonus gifts. Yours to take home just for shopping at Boscov's and making a $20 or more purchase. Plus, 20 to 50% savings on all costume jewelry. 50% off men's Arrow and Band use and dress shirts. 50% off men's and ladies' tri-local jog sets. Save 62% on Isotoner ladies' gloves. 45% on Isotoner slippers. And take home a bonus gift during Pick-A-Gift Days at Boscov's.
WBRE-TV 28, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton.
National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Start the fourth quarter at Three Rivers Stadium. Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth, 23-10 Houston. The Oilers with the ball 2nd and 12 from the Steeler 42-yard line. Here comes Woodson on a blitz. Moon got rid of it, incomplete. Diving attempt made by Jeffries, no good.
Everybody coming for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dom Capers pulling out all the stops now. They're bringing both corners. Woodson almost gets there, shooting the gap. Made Moon throw it just a little bit early. I think this is the right strategy by Dom Capers. Your offense has not been that effective. They need to create something defensively.
3rd and 12. Here they come. Moon heaves down the center of the field. Nobody there.
The blitz didn't get there, but it was effective. Warren Moon threw the ball before he wanted to, and thus the incompletion, and you get the ball back in the hands of your offense. Warren Moon looked a little on that play like he did at the beginning of the season, like the pressure was bothering him.
Montgomery on to punt. And Rod Woodson will wait at the 10. Pressure on Montgomery. He kicked it away. It'll bounce at the 5 and be down at about the 6-yard line. Great punt by Montgomery. He killed it in its tracks, and the Oilers down it.
And now Mike Tomczak comes in the ball game. Well, apparently Neil O'Donnell now insisting on going back in. After Bill Cowher had called for Mike Tomczak to warm up, O'Donnell apparently has talked him into allowing him to go back in the game.
So bruised hip and all, O'Donnell returns, and he directs his offense from his own 6, trailing by 13. Problem with the clock, perhaps, as play is stopped.
Will the clock operator please put 14:43 on the scoreboard clock? 14:43.
The clock was running that whole time on change of possession, so they reset it to 14:43.
You expect that to happen in Houston, but not in Pittsburgh. No slap at the people in Houston.
Right.
I don't want to get into that.
It's too late now.
No.
Too late. O'Donnell pumps once down the middle, way over the head of.
Good call. It's a good call by the official.
The late flags go down, as you see, and that will be a penalty against the Oilers.
Jeff Graham ran a hitch and go pattern, a stop and go, and we've got it going on at the line of scrimmage now too. Steve Jackson was beaten on the play, and he reached out and grabbed Graham. It's going to be a holding call against the Houston Oilers. Or one of those, an illegal chuck. But it was really more a holding. Steve Jackson reached out and grabbed Jeff Graham's jersey as he went by.
On the defense, number 24, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The two penalties are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. Watch number 24. Jackson's going to grab the shoulder right there, and that's the penalty. Really no need to. Bo Orlando is in perfect position.
5-yard mark off against the defense of Buddy Ryan, but an automatic first down. O'Donnell on the out pattern intended for Graham, and incomplete.
No respect whatsoever for Jeff Graham deep. Steve Jackson completely squatted on the pattern. I don't know if he was looking in the backfield and guessing, but Steve Jackson has no respect whatsoever for Jeff Graham going deep. Look at this. That is all over the pattern. Neil O'Donnell luckily threw that one out of bounds.
Blitz comes. O'Donnell has to get rid of it, and Cooper caught it. No, then it came loose. Incomplete.
I never really thought of Al Smith as being much of a blitzer, but he has been a pain for Neil O'Donnell all afternoon. He started lining up on the outside, looped around right over the center, and got right in the face of Neil O'Donnell, forcing him to get rid of it quickly. Luckily, that one wasn't intercepted. Al Smith's going to loop all the way around and then blitz right up the middle. Nice job there by Merrill Hodge, I believe it was, trying to pick him up.
So it's 3rd and 10. Incomplete. Intended for Hodge. Would have been short of the first down anyway.
Now explain that one to him. 3rd down and 10, and you throw a flat pattern that's going to net you maybe 3. Very strange call. Neil O'Donnell maybe not wanting to sit back in that pocket quite as long as he did in the beginning of the game because of all the pressure that he's seen.
Drury awaiting the punt by Royals. Drury has to come up to take it at the 46. All the way to the 43, where he's tackled by Levon Kirkland after a 36-yard punt. We'll take a break.
Think of all this as a large block of ice. Think of this as a chip off the old block. Coors Light's aged ice cold. So when you think of ice, think of the silver bullet. The only way to chill.
Maybe you didn't know that the Mazda 626 comes with the best basic warranty in its class. But the people of Flat Rock, Michigan stand behind the car they build. And that's why we can too.
Braun Flex Control. The first electric shaver with a pivoting head. Flex Control automatically adjusts to every contour of your face. Under the chin, under the lip, that tricky spot under your nose. You'll get the closest Braun shave yet. Flex Control from Braun, the last word in shavers.
Folks around Flat Rock, Michigan have their own way of conserving energy. They build the Mazda 626, and they build it so it gets the best mileage of any mid-size sedan in America.
So what do they do in your town?
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Braun Flex Control, the first electric shaver with a pivoting head that adjusts to every contour of your face. By Citibank Visa, now with your photo and signature on the front for greater security. Not just Visa, Citibank Visa. And by Coors Light, aged ice cold for that pure taste of the Rockies. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now.
Hosanna has 2 touchdowns in that bag. That's what the Steelers need now. They trail by 13 points, 23-10, with 14-14 left in the game. But the Oilers in good field position. A first down at the Pittsburgh 42. Boone's pass complete. Wellman is inside the 15 where he's caught by Willie Williams. Flag down on the play, Chris. Excuse me. Personal foul against the Steelers for roughing the passer, Kevin Green.
So tack half the distance to the goal line on at the end of this play. But what a performance today by Gary Wellman. They just never run out of wide receivers in Houston, and they all look about the same, all about 5'9", 175 pounds.
Roughing the passer, number 66 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
There's Donald Evans on the rushing the passer call.
And I think part of that is frustration on the part of Donald Evans. He finally got a chance to take a shot at Warren Moon, and it was no question roughing the passer. But what a job this Oilers front 5 have done in protecting Warren Moon today.
29-yard completion plus the penalty, and the ball at the 7 of the Steelers. Houston looking to put it away for good. Timeout taken by Moon. So Houston will take its second timeout as the play clock was down to 2.
And you could see it coming, Tom. They had at least 7 coming on that blitz. Warren Moon saw it and didn't like the formation or didn't like the play call and wisely took a timeout to stay away from the bad play.
Well, Mike Tomczak was warming up. It looked like he might come into the game, but he did not. O'Donnell directed the last series, and underneath that hood is Mike Tomczak, who was right in the middle of things in the Astrodome 3 weeks ago when these two teams met.
Tomczak threw an interception and then chop blocked at the knees of Michael Barrow, a linebacker, and then paid the price for it. Barrow didn't appreciate it, ripped his helmet off, and got $5,000 worth of Tomczak's face on his fist.
Looked like about $2,500 a punch. Well, maybe as he continues to pound away.
And Michael Barrow was upset that nobody ever saw the chop block when it was shown on national television. Looks like somebody may have retaliated for Tomczak along the way.
Or he got a Band-Aid on his nose, and Tomczak's not even in the game yet. Moon, mix-up. Moon turned right. Everyone else went left. Still Warren lugs it to the 1-yard line.
It's getting to be a pretty effective play. Gary Brown misses an audible, and Warren Moon now is getting so used to him not hearing the audibles, he knows what to do. He just takes it and runs right up the hole. Everything, there's a nice hole there. Look, I bet you Gary Brown liked to have the ball in that situation, but Warren Moon knew where that hole was, and he turned it up. Not bad for an older guy.
Second and goal from the 1. Brown this time in the right space, and so is the Pittsburgh defense led by Kevin Henry and Reggie Barnes.
Good show of heart there by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Would have been very easy to roll over in this situation. The offense really hasn't given this defense very much to work with at all, and this Oilers offense has been so methodical. Gary Brown now with the most yards rushing against the Steelers defense all year.
Breaking his own record, which he said earlier. So it's third and goal. The ball now back at the 3. Another timeout. That time the play clock was to 1, and Moon couldn't get the snap. So he calls timeout with 12:21 left in the game, and the Oilers threatening again.
People around Flat Rock, Michigan have a lot of reasons to be proud. One of which is building the Mazda 626. Because even with dual airbags and a V6 engine, it still costs less than a 4-cylinder Camry LE. 6 cylinders that cost less than 4? People in Flat Rock think that's a powerful argument for the 626. And so do we. Mazda. It just feels right.
The client everybody's after wants to meet us for dinner. Can you be ready in 10 minutes?
Norelco introduces the compact speed racer. Why show up at a 7 p.m. meeting with a 7 a.m. shave? The new Norelco speed racer. Close and comfortable to go.
Skill FlexiCharge cordless tools.
We interrupt this ad for a special offer. Now, when you buy a FlexiCharge cordless screwdriver, you also get a FlexiCharge flashlight.
The FlexiCharge interchangeable power system from Skill.
Tonight, on an all-new Sequest, Lucas joins a colony of young computer hackers.
How long do you think you want to stay there?
A while. But he's being seduced into a dangerous cult.
Don't you like being here?
I just want to know what's going on. Led by an evil messiah.
We can reshape civilization.
Now he's trapped beyond all hope of rescue tonight on Sequest.
Barring a total collapse, Warren Moon will lead the Oilers to their 9th win in a row and a sweep of divisional opponents and the divisional title in the AFC Central. You had an interesting question for Warren Moon yesterday about his records, or would-be records, if he had played in the NFL throughout his career.
Yeah, he played his first 6 years in the Canadian Football League in Edmonton, and had he played in the National Football League throughout his career, he would have thrown for 54,000 yards, which is most by any quarterback in the NFL. And he said, yeah, it bothers me a little bit that I don't hold that record, but he's a prideful guy and not by no means any kind of an egomaniac. He is very much a team player.
And he has the ball now. Third and goal from the Pittsburgh 3. There's Gary Brown checking with his quarterback. Which way, coach? Moon rolling, rolling, rolling. Throws it away. Reggie Barnes was bearing down on Warren Moon, so he had to throw it away. And another field goal attempt. You know, if you really closely analyze the game, the Pittsburgh defense has only given up 1 touchdown today.
That's right, because of the interception return by the Houston Oilers and Bo Orlando. That was a good decision there by Warren Moon. Your team is up by 13. You want to go up by more than 2 touchdowns. You don't take a risk on throwing an interception. The field goal does the same job.
21-yard attempt by Del Greco. On the money, Al Del Greco boots another field goal. And it's now 26-10, the Oilers over the Steelers.
import pickup ever built. The new 4-liter V6 Mazda truck. What all the beautiful people are driving this year.
Panasonic presents a unique and highly evolved Smooth Operator. The new Smooth Operator 2 with float control is the only razor to unite the comfort of twin independent floating heads with the closeness of a warm, wet shave. Don't try this with any plugged-in razor. The new Smooth Operator wet dry razors from Panasonic. Smoother than you ever thought you would be.
Behind every new Mazda truck is an unsurpassed 50,000-mile, 3-year basic warranty. And behind that, who knows?
New Year's Day on NBC. The #1 Nebraska Cornhuskers battle Heisman winner Charlie Ward and the #2 Florida State Seminoles. Tom Osborne faces Bobby Bowden. Two coaching greats each in pursuit of their first national title. It's a primetime showdown for the national championship. The Federal Express Orange Bowl, New Year's Day on NBC.
Oilers on their way to their 9th in a row. It could be a costly one, though. Webster Slaughter injured. You saw him on the sideline. Del Greco's kick fumbled by Stone. Still looking for it and still loose. Who's got it? Big pileup as Stone twice fumbled the ball.
This falls into the category for Dwight Stone of, have you ever had one of those days?
Jack Pardee saying, we know who's got it. Jack Pardee, who was fired by the experts, the media pundits, when they were 1-4. Steelers got it back.
And Tom, almost to a man, they give him credit for handling the Jeff Alm situation. The way that this team was able to bounce back after that tragedy. His even-handed manner. Even though an Oiler is lying there with the ball, they've given it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's Terry Hogue, who picked up the ball, and Dwight Stone could not. Now the fight's on, and my guess is somehow number 27 right there lying closest to you ended up with the football. Now, you tell me how that happened.
I thought Davenport was trying to hatch it there for a while. Hogue had the ball, but it belongs to Pittsburgh. It's the Christmas season. Graham wide open, pass over his head and incomplete. And you know, one of the more exciting plays of the day here at Three Rivers was during our last commercial break, as high above the stadium, Will You Marry Me, Sherry. The only problem is, if it's a Steeler fan, he'll probably fumble the ring.
Sherry may not be in too good a mood after this. Should have asked her in the first quarter. Well, the first quarter wasn't any better either. That's true.
Second and 10 from the 12. Buddy Ryan, relentless, shows the blitz. It gets to O'Donnell. Down at the 1.
Duval Love would just as soon Sean Jones go ahead and check out of his hotel room and go back to Houston. He has just overpowered him on this afternoon.
4th sack of the day for Buddy Ryan's Oiler defense, and O'Donnell has felt it on numerous occasions, not only the sacks, but some other times as well.
Big swat at the right arm for Sean Jones, goes right around Duval Love. I tell you, Tom, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing here today. On the road, the Houston Oilers have just dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers.
From his end zone, O'Donnell down the sideline for Graham and too far. Blues rain down on the Steelers, who of course are not eliminated from the playoffs by this loss. They'll still have a chance for the wild card as the Oilers claim the divisional title.
And part of the cleverness of Buddy Ryan is making it look like receivers are open. He has had Steve Jackson clamp down on Jeff Graham, really play him tough underneath, and then Bo Orlando, the safety, has been cheating that way so that if Jackson gets beat on a play, Orlando is still there. A very clever scheme by Buddy Ryan.
Royals punting from his end zone. sailing to Drury at the 40. Wrapped up and finally nudged out of bounds by Victor Jones. 54-yard Royals punt. Let's punt it over to New York now, where Jim Lampley at NFL Live is waiting for an update. Take it, Jim.
All right, Tom, let's go back to Miami on a penalty-provided 4th down reprieve. DeBerg's second touchdown pass of the day. Falling down, he hits Ingram in the back of the end zone. Still plenty of time remaining. Dolphins down 47-34. Back to Tom and Chris.
All right, if you're Don Shula, the Sportsman of the Year, do you go back to DeBerg?
I'll tell you, Steve DeBerg's one of those guys. He has been around. He backed up the very best in this game. John Elway, Joe Montana, played for a lot of different teams. He has no quit in his heart. I used to play a little tennis against Steve DeBerg, as a matter of fact. Couldn't whip him there either.
Steelers come with their blitz, and it's effective. Woodson wraps up Gary Brown. Takes him for a loss of about 3 yards.
But I still go back to the screen pass in the first quarter that went for the touchdown to Gary Brown, and it seemed to get Don Capers out of his defensive game plan for about a quarter. Seemed to maybe make him back off just a little bit from some of those blitzes from Carnell Lake and from Rod Woodson, but now here late in the fourth quarter, there's no option. You have to try and go get Warren Moon.
No blitz this time. Moon with a short completion to Wellman, who is tripped up by Rod Woodson. Be a slight gain on the play.
And Tom, David Williams, number 73 of Babygate fame, is making a name for himself with me here today. He has been on Kevin Green, the great pass rushing end, used to be with the Rams, leading in sacks almost every year with the Rams, and David Williams has owned him today. He's gotten a little help on the inside. That's Doug Dawson helping him, but mostly it has been David Williams doing the job against Kevin Green.
The fact that he's a former Gator didn't influence you at all, I suppose.
I didn't know that.
Moon throws quickly. Did Wellman make that catch? It was a pretty one. No, it will not count.
Gibbons incomplete.
It was Gibbons anyway that almost had it on the tips of his fingers. And so Montgomery is on to punt.
And now's when you really need a big play from Rod Woodson. Offensively, you can't get it done. Woodson last year as a punt returner was so dangerous, returning kicks, but this year just simply has not had the same opportunity. Part of the problem is the fly guys on the outside. The Steelers have had a lot of trouble getting them blocked.
Nice punt by Montgomery.
Did a good job with the fly guys that time.
Woodson at the 5, needs one block. Can't get it. 47-yard Montgomery punt. Woodson brings it back with a minimal return, and the Steelers take over.
Trucks are a spiritual thing to me. Something you can depend on. It's just like, you know, my best friend, I guess you might say.
Out on the ranch is where I'm at, and that's where I want the truck to work for me.
I need a truck that's rough like I am.
Introducing the all-new Mazda truck with a 4-liter V6 and a soul to match. The new Mazda truck.
Saddle up and let's go dancing.
Mazda. It just feels right.
Some prefer. Some prefer. Everyone prefers.
Preferred stock cologne from Stetson. What preferred men prefer.
Use a workmate on your next job. And you'll never want to work without it. Get the workmate, only from Black & Decker.
Welcome back to Three Rivers, where the Steelers have a new quarterback, the feisty Mike Tomczak, replacing the banged-up Neil O'Donnell as the Steelers signal caller.
The punching bag, Mike Tomczak. Both those players said that it's behind them, that they no longer want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it. There's Neil O'Donnell on the sideline. But anytime you get punched in the face as many times as Mike Tomczak did, you know that it has to be on your mind to some degree.
Well, the crowd has thinned out considerably from the sellout contingent that was here to open the game, as the Oilers scored 14 quick points to take control of this contest and are currently up 26-10 on their way to the AFC Central title and a trip to the playoffs where they hope this year to erase that wonderful comeback for the Buffalo Bills at the Oilers' expense last season. Tomczak already in trouble. Nowhere to go.
And I guarantee you, Buddy Ryan has sent the message. If you get a chance to rough up Mike Tomczak after what he did to one of our guys, go ahead and take your shots.
Buddy would do that?
Nothing illegal, but take your shots when you get them.
Tomczak completes that pass to Mills.
Of course, a few years back, Buddy Ryan had been accused of having a bounty on different players' heads, and he'd always denied that, but he is a guy that will use every motivational tool available to him.
He may have one on you if you keep banging on him like that.
I'd love to see me hurt.
Not badly, just shaken up. Pass behind Mills and incomplete.
Tough spot to try and come in this ball game. Down by 16 points, and Buddy Ryan playing his games in the secondary. You know he'll come with the blitzes, try and get Tomczak rattled.
I like that signal. Did you see it?
Yeah. You guys call it.
Go, just do it. The Kentucky horse breeder, thoroughbred man, told us he had 7 thoroughbreds in training. Buddy Ryan. Fake snap. Short man Hodge got the snap. But Ray Childress has seen that before. Nothing doing.
Little trick play time as Ron Earhart tries to pull a few tricks out of the bag. The direct snap to Merrill Hodge instead of to the quarterback, and Ray Childress just happened to run into Hodge.
Meanwhile, a long pass completion as Tomczak finds Graham downfield. That brings a cheer from the few folks that are left. 28-yard gain. Tomczak on the season has thrown 2 touchdown passes but 4 interceptions. Pumps once and off his back foot lets it fly down the sideline. Flag on the play. Mills was the intended receiver. Mills and Dishman were going at it. Flag on the play. Dishman pleads his case.
Mills looked like he had stopped on the play and then saw Tomczak still had the ball and tried to re-accelerate and ran into Chris Dishman.
Conference continues, and the call will be against Dishman for interference.
Bill's going up the field, kind of hits it into the jog stride, and then when the ball was in the air, Chris Dishman clearly had pushed off a little bit, but it was almost as much Ernie Mills running into him as it was Dishman pushing off.
Dishman obviously not pleased with the call and letting his feelings be known. That's the official he is gesturing to. Tomczak's in the shotgun. Sets up the screen. Hodge follows his blockers to the 11. Ray Childress got over there to track him down at that spot.
And Ray Childress does such a nice job of chasing this play from behind. The veteran knew it was a screen and did everything he could to get out in front of it.
Tomczak throws an interception. Picked off by Bo Orlando, his second of the day. Orlando flagged down on the play. Orlando picked one off and took it for a touchdown in the first quarter. He was the man that they were saying was not fast enough to take over from Marcus Robertson. All he does is pick off 2 passes and take one of them for a score.
Orlando started 16 games 2 years ago.
Illegal use of hands, number 18. After the interception, grabbing the face mask will add 5 yards to that place.
That's Tomczak again. He's bidding for another beating.
You're talking about a guy with a death wish. Tomczak at the very end of the play has the face mask of Mike Teeter, throws him down. Mike Teeter only weighs 260 pounds. Teeter coming after him and then tries to get out in front to throw a block. Tomczak steer him around. Woo!
You know, Orlando has doubled his interception production for the season in this one game. As Gary Brown now carries for a few yards, and while he gets up, we'll go to Jim Lampley for another update.
And Tom, here's some draft intrigue. Cincinnati wins a must-lose game against the Rams. So how does New England respond? Well, the Patriots take the lead in a must-lose game against Cleveland. New England now leading 20-17 on the Russell touchdown from 4 yards out in the fourth. Back to Tom and Chris.
Go figure.
Jim's tough on my boys from Cincinnati. Must lose.
Last time we saw the score, Cincinnati was beating the Rams. So. Here's the screen to Brown. This one worked for a touchdown early in the game, first quarter. This time it works all the way to the Steeler 40.
And Gary Brown just couldn't wait any longer. He had his two big offensive linemen out in front of him. It looked like Doug Dawson and David Williams, and Gary Brown was just too impatient. He had all that green grass, green turf in front of him, and split the two offensive linemen and ended up getting tackled on the play.
By the way, from Riverfront, the Cincinnati Bengals have won their second game of the season, both at the expense of Los Angeles teams. Beat the Raiders earlier. Today they down the Rams 15-3. Gary Brown again. And LaVon Kirkland. Don't forget now, Christmas Day. What a great lineup for you. Our gifts to you on the Christmas holiday. Houston, Phoenix, NBA action. Two hot teams. The defense of the Rockets, the offense of the Suns. 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then a wonderful matchup of two hot football teams. The Oilers against the 49ers. And then wrap it all up in prime time as the Shack takes on the world champion Bulls. That's our Christmas lineup here on NBC.
Well, Gary Brown now has to be well over 100 yards, and he becomes the first running back to go over 100 yards against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense this year.
Here are the official numbers. 97 yards, so you're just a little short.
On the Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm always just a little quick. That's not bad, though. 97 yards. Give them to him one more time here, and not make me look so bad.
There you go. Molly Solomon comes up with the official numbers. 18 carries, 97 yards.
Also 80 yards receiving on the day. Another big day for Gary Brown.
Whistles blow as the Steelers showed blitz. Maybe an Oiler lineman flinched a bit. It will be against Houston. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Delay a game on the Oilers. Looking forward to that matchup. The Oilers and the 49ers.
Really should be a good one. From what we've seen of this Oilers defense, they may now be better than that 49ers defense. They've had some problems. Lost people up front, of course, Pierce Holt, Kevin Fagan, some guys that Charles Haley a couple of years ago. So what was once a great 49ers defensive front, now not quite as strong.
And oh man, can they both score. It'll be some fun. Brown fumbled the ball, picked up by LaVon Kirkland of the Steelers. So Brown denied his 100 yards, fumbles, and it's recovered by Pittsburgh.
And every time you want to say that it's over, the Steelers make some sort of play to get back in it. Gary Brown, it was a good exchange. I think that may have been Joel Steed, number 93, that made the initial hit and stripped the ball. LaVon Kirkland recovered the fumble.
We talked about the Oilers' Christmas Day matchup at San Francisco. They closed the game at the Astrodome against the Jets. Pittsburgh will have to regroup now and go on the road to face Seattle next week before closing out against the Browns here at Three Rivers. They, of course, lost to Cleveland earlier on the 2 Metcalf touchdown punt returns. Tomczak hits Eric Green to midfield.
And Tom, if the Houston Oilers get home field advantage in the playoffs and get to play their playoff games in the Dome, they are going to be very dangerous indeed. That is one of the most difficult places that I know of to play and try and come away with a road win. The last few years, the Oilers have continually made the playoffs, but they've had to play on the road, and this run and shoot has not been as successful outdoors as what they are inside in that dome.
Outdoors in the winter weather. In fact, the kind of weather we were expecting today is the kind the run and shoot is not supposed to be so good in. That pass dropped by Ernie Mills. Flags down. We didn't get the snow that was forecast for today, and the cold weather does not bother the run and shoot. Warren Moon said a cold, wet football is the worst. Offside against the Oilers.
Flag on the play.
Tom, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, either in the draft or through free agency,
5-yard penalty result in the first down.
they have to look to get a big play wide receiver. They have to get a guy that is going to threaten the defense down the field. These guys are all decent receivers, but they don't have anybody, a Michael Irvin, a Jerry Rice type guy, that is going to scare you defensively, and Buddy Ryan has been able to take advantage of that today.
Tomczak's pass, no good. And you'd have to think, too, that they expect Neil O'Donnell's ailing elbow, the tendonitis in his elbow, to get better with rest. In fact, Neil said he needs a month off, but, of course, you can't get that. You don't have that luxury here during the season. And after signing him to that big contract matching the Tampa Bay offer sheet, they have to hope O'Donnell will get better and be their quarterback of the present as well as the future. And as you say, they need a burner. Have that luxury here during the season, and after signing him to that big contract matching the Tampa Bay offer sheet, they have to hope O'Donnell will get better and be their quarterback of the present as well as the future. And as you say, they need a burner, a deep threat at wide receiver. Certainly the defense is there. Tomczak ducks under the rush and goes down. 5th sack of the day for the Houston defense. This time, Ray Childress will get credit for it. He's approaching 70 career sacks. Cattle farmer out of Texas, has an 1,800-acre cattle ranch.
And he wasn't too happy at the beginning of the season. He felt that there had been some promises made to him about his contract that weren't fulfilled. Was not a happy guy, but it was interesting to hear him talk about Buddy Ryan. He said he's really misunderstood, that in our meetings he's very quiet, and if he does say anything at all, it's in a very low tone of voice.
He has this image of the drill sergeant, the one barking all the time, and they say it's not true. He just barks when he's away from his players. To the media, among others. That's Hastings that made that catch, the rookie from Georgia, only his 2nd reception of the season.
Also like what he had to say about Jeff Alm. Ray Childress was perhaps at least one of his best friends on this football team, and he said that he and his wife would invite Jeff Alm over for dinner, and that he was such a nice and polite young man. He would always send thank you notes to his wife and made her feel special.
Graham makes that catch. Gets away from the tackler and then is all the way to the 4-yard line. Jeff Graham with a catch. He got away from Terry Brown, and then Hogue and Orlando had to track him down, but it was a 37-yard gain. Tomczak will stop the clock at 2:24.
And Jeff Graham's numbers on the day are going to look pretty good. He's made a couple of big plays, had a chance really right before the half to get out of bounds and help the Steelers perhaps get another 3 points on the board. But the story of this one has been all Houston Oilers. The AFC has been looking for a dominant team, a team that has a chance to go in and break that streak in the Super Bowl and be competitive with teams like the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Perhaps now this Houston Oilers team is it.
Graham, by the way, 7 catches, 192 yards on the day, so you're right, his numbers do look good, although a bit deceiving. Well, stay with us after the game. The Head and Shoulders NFL Live post-game report will be coming up. Jim Lampley, Mike Ditka, they'll have all the highlights, all the scores, bring you up to date on these happenings down the stretch in the NFL race. 2 weeks to go following today and tomorrow night's action.
First down.
Touchdown. First rushing touchdown of the season for Merrill Hodge, so he does have 4 pass receiving scores. So the 7-year veteran from Idaho State, who was the #1 rusher 3 of 4 years up until last year, and the arrival and the emergence of Barry Foster, takes this one in.
Well, if you can convert here, you're down 9, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning remaining, an onside kick. I suppose it's possible.
Well, stranger things have happened, although you wouldn't expect it the way the Oilers have dominated the game, but it is 26-17 at the 2:20 mark.
I'm sure Buddy Ryan not too happy about giving up that late touchdown. His defense has played so well here this afternoon, and now statistically it's not going to look like a great day. This defense probably won't move up much in the ratings, but they have clearly been the difference in this one. Gotten pressure when they needed it, gotten the turnovers when they had to have it, and that is Buddy Ryan's style.
Well, just a reminder that tonight starts with an NBC special about troubled kids whose lives are changed when cops reach out and open their hearts and homes to them. Good Cop, Bad Kid, followed by an all-new Sequest. Then the adventure continues with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd in the box office hits Back to the Future Part 3, all coming up tonight here on NBC. Gary Anderson, the veteran place kicker of the Pittsburgh Steelers, not much chance to show his wares today, but a field goal rate right about 92%, and the NFL record is 95, so threatening that. Already holds 20 Pittsburgh record. On the onside kick attempt, Steelers have it at the 48. That one worked beautifully, and Anderson had it bounce once, kick up into the air where Willie Williams was able to grab it.
And what a great job as you look at John Guy, the special teams coach. What a great job by Gary Anderson. The double hopper. On the second hop is when this thing jumps. If you kick it right, boom, up in the air. A couple of guys flipping around. But the Steelers have the football and have a chance.
This could be interesting. A quick score here, and this could get awfully interesting. Tom Zach still at quarterback. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 left. Rush on Tomzak, and he's sacked. He got rid of it at the last minute, but he was down. He'll be ruled sacked by William Fuller, and that is number 6 for the Houston defense.
And number 10 on the year for William Fuller. He already has more than he had all of last season. A Pro Bowler in '91. We haven't called his name a lot today, but here in a big moment of the game, he comes up with a sack.
Loss of 12. Tomzak's pass, this time complete to Green. Just about back to the original line of scrimmage as we come to the 2-minute warning. Officially 1:56 left in the game from Three Rivers.
Citibank has really given us a new sense of self because we have our own identities.
I have a Citibank Visa card, and it does have my photo on it, so I have one less worry.
And not only that, but you can pick where you like. So it doesn't look like a DMV photo. I don't know why the other credit cards aren't doing the same thing. We need a photo card so family members can tell us apart.
Introducing the first credit card with your photo and signature on front from not just Visa, Citibank Visa. If you can dream it, the Rebel can do it. Now, EOS Rebel bubble from Canon has more power to create images, not just snapshots.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Everybody needs some money sometime. Everybody.
When you need money fast.
Hello, Stu.
Come to Western Union. We send more money to more people in more places than anyone else. Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Steelers facing a third down, trailing 26-17 with 1:56 left. It'll be 3rd and 12. Final score in from that game in Cleveland. The New England Patriots did indeed defeat the Cleveland Browns 20-17.
Had a chance to watch the Patriots last week. They're a team that they play good defense. Will Parcells and got them on the right track. Now the only question is, can they get their ownership in shape so that during the free agent market they can go out and begin to sign some players. They also have a couple of big players that they have to get signed on their own team as well, and if that ownership picture doesn't square itself up pretty soon, they may end up losing more of their own players than they're able to sign.
2 AFC doormats registering wins today. Cincinnati over the Rams, and the Browns losing to the Patriots. Win number 3 for New England, win number 2 for Cincinnati. Third down play. Tomczak rolls. His protection rolls with him. Lets it go over the head of Stone, his intended receiver. Or was it Davenport? It was Stone. And incomplete, so they'll go for it on 4th down.
One more shot. I think that they're using the right strategy, though, and that is you've got to look for the first down here with the 2 timeouts remaining. If you can get it down there, even if you get stopped, you can always kick a field goal, try the onside kick, and then go for the alley-oop at the end of the game. But they have to make the play here.
On 4th and 12. Tomczak pumps once, then hits Green. He's got the first down out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Nice job by Tomczak. Pump froze the defenders. He spotted the big tight end. Latham then rode him out of bounds.
And you just wonder why they don't just keep feeding Eric Green the football.
Clock stopped at 1:43. The ball at the 34, where Steelers have a first down. Tomczak has Graham in the pass behind him. He was streaking downfield. A mix-up apparently on the defense, and Tomczak missed it.
And Jeff Graham saying, throw it up, don't throw it in here behind me. It's a double seam route, and Tomczak tried to zip it in this little hole, whereas if he'd have just taken it and laid it up over the top, you see, Jeff said, oh, please, just throw it out here. Let me go get a touchdown.
Time for a minute to thank our booth teammates, spotters Tim Fogarty and Mike McGinley, George Jordan, DJ Wilson on staff. 2nd and 10 now for Tomczak. For the end zone, intended for Davenport and through his hands.
You don't get many chances like that one, Charles. Davenport's a former quarterback, and he caught it like one there.
Well, you were a former quarterback.
Yeah, sometimes I caught it like that, too. Outside, nice move. The fake inside by O'Donnell hits him right on the hand. And that would have been interesting with 1:32 left and down by just 2 points in this one.
That was a touchdown. Davenport had it right through his hand. 3rd down. Tomczak, that'll go out of the end zone. No chance on that one. So now we come to another 4th down.
If you felt like Gary Anderson could kick a 51-yarder, that might be the strategy here. Then you come back with a onside kick and then try and throw a few more into the end zone. So far this year, though, Gary Anderson's longest kick has been from 46. He does have a 55-yarder in his career, but maybe he's feeling like they just doesn't have the range at this point to try the 51-yarder.
So Anderson remains on the sideline. They're going to go for it on 4th down, 4th and 10. Clock shows 1:24. And the Steelers take a timeout. They may need that later should they score a touchdown. They'll have one remaining, trailing 26-17 and 1:24 left.
Well, that's a big timeout to have to burn in that situation. They just took too long to get the play in.
Back to the NFL next Sunday, of course. We'll start things off 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Most of you will see the Steelers take on the Seattle Seahawks at the Kingdome. Some of you will see the Raiders against the Packers or regional action. And, of course, you Oiler fans will have seen your team play on Christmas Day against the 49ers. This is our lineup for next Sunday, a week from today, starting at 12:30 Eastern time. As we come right down, deciding, I think what Bill Cowher said yesterday, really interesting in the AFC. You have 8 teams alive for the home field. You have 8 teams that could be eliminated from the playoffs.
That's about right.
Tomzak's pass on 4th down is caught for a first by Davenport. Well, they let one get away in the end zone, or it's Hastings, is it? Let's check and see if it's 80 or 88.
Got to get up. You've got to get up. You've got to get up and snap the football here.
It was Hastings that made the catch for the first down.
One timeout remaining.
Tomzak threw it short and incomplete.
We'll give credit to Mike Tomzak for showing some guts here at the end of the game. He's hung in there pretty well against the pressure. He's taken all comers from the Houston Oilers, taking a few shots to the face, and got his own face mask pulled a couple of times, but Mike Tomzak's trying to rally the troops the best that he can.
Ball is at the 16-yard line. It's 2nd and 10, but inside a minute now, 56 ticks left. Tomzak hitting 9 of 16 since replacing Neil O'Donnell. 26-17 Oilers. Tomzak has time. Up for grabs. Incomplete. Davenport on the jump ball situation. Incomplete.
You know, Mike Tomzak started 8 games for the Browns last year, threw 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 80. Neil O'Donnell's quarterback rating all of last year was 83. It is again this year coming into this game anyway. So he's a proven commodity.
Steelers liked what they saw. He was the only AFC Central quarterback to beat the Steelers last year. They lost to the Browns, their only divisional loss. So in the offseason, they picked him up. Oh, dropped by Green. Partially tipped by the defender who made a pass at it. That was Lathan. And Green couldn't quite hold on to it. It brings us up another 4th down.
I think I'd kick the field goal here, Tom. You're in a situation you have to have 2 scores anyway.
Anderson's ready, but they're not going for it. Anderson stays again on the sideline. This is the 3rd 4th down attempt in this drive of the Steelers, which began with the recovery of an onside kick. Well, Tomzak back to the rabbit's foot once more. That's too far out of the end zone. Again, no chance to catch that one as it sailed 20 yards beyond the end zone.
Probably not relevant in the grand scheme of things, but if you kick a field goal there, you're down by less than a touchdown. You have to recover the onside kick anyway. And then if you do, you take a couple of shots, throw it 50 yards down the end zone, hope for get a ball bouncing around that one of your guys comes up with.
Well, at any rate, if you're going to go for it on 4th down, you got to throw it where somebody can catch it.
No question. But let's give credit to Jack Pardee and the job that he has done. What a tough week for this Houston Oilers team, and they responded. So many people have questioned the mental toughness, the physical toughness of the Houston Oilers in the past. As a matter of fact, Buddy Ryan made that statement when I took over this team, that a lot of coaches called me, media types called me and said that this was an underachieving team, a team that wasn't very tough. Well, they took what was perhaps the toughest of all weeks to deal with the death of Jeff Alm, and responded like true champions.
And now the rest of the season dedicated by the Oilers to their late teammate, and they respond with their 9th consecutive victory and the championship, their 2nd outright championship ever in the AFC Central Division.
So many people had written that guy off. Jack Pardee was supposed to have been fired. Maybe Buddy Ryan would have been the coach. But these players do truly love him. They think that he is the guy. He doesn't even give the pregame speech. He's not an emotional type. He's not the hype type of guy. He lets other people do it. But Jack Pardee knows how to put together a football team.
So the Houston Oilers, Warren Moon will save that football as they win the divisional championship and complete a sweep of their divisional opponent. 2nd win this season over the Steelers. It comes by a 26-17 count, and the Oilers are AFC Central champs.
The water on the left is being heated by electricity, on the right by natural gas. For the cost of heating this much water with electricity, we'd like to show you how much more you can get with gas. So why settle for the water on the left when natural gas gives you all that hot water on the right? Clean natural gas, America's best energy value.
(26-17), Chris Collinsworth, the Houston Oilers living up to billing today, 9 in a row, and to me, they look like the cream of the crop in the AFC at the moment.
And what's so amazing about it, Tom, is this team started off 1-4, had so many problems at the beginning of the season. Buddy Ryan and Kevin Gilbride, the 2 coordinators, at each other's throats for much of what was the beginning of the season, and somehow this team, Warren Moon, Jack Pardee, emotionally kept it together, and now they are the champions.
Could have been a costly victory, though, because Webster Slaughter leaving the field on crutches, having torn a medial collateral ligament today. Their leading receiver, who with a catch in the game had 77 on the season, and one of their primary threats injured in this game, and if he is not available for the rest of the season, that will be a terrific loss. Now stay tuned for the Head & Shoulders NFL Live postgame report coming up after these messages. For Chris Collinsworth, this is Tom Hammond saying so long. A presentation of NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 28.
All across the Pacific, they're playing our song. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
Tonight, see one city's experiment when cops open their homes and their hearts to gang members.
I want a family like this.
An NBC special, Good Cops, Bad Kids, tonight.
From our family to yours, happy holidays.
If you watched Eyewitness News this past week, we had you covered.
From Wayne County, where a plane crash kills 2 Holmesdale area men.
From Hazel Township, as a suspected chemical leak ties up the Valmont Industrial Park.
From Wilkes-Barre, as 2 medical experts call for the exhumation of the body of murder victim Robert Curley.
From Scranton and Wilkes-Barre, as Mercy Hospitals form a regional healthcare network with other institutions.
And on the sports beat, as Wilkes University football coach Joe DeMelfi wins National Coach of the Year honors.
If you missed Eyewitness News, you missed the news.
Don't you have anything to fit me? No offense, Mr. Jones, but you are a little on the small side. I need more choices. Harry, give me those genuine yellow pages. More choices. Italian, Greek, Chinese. You want more? What's the restaurant? That's right. You put some meat on those bones and come back and see. 9 out of 10 use it. It's the Matterhorn. The genuine Bella, Pennsylvania yellow pages from Bell Atlantic. Are you losing weight?
This is Jim Miller along with Montage ski instructor Bob Rosen inviting you to join us every Thursday night for ski tips right here on WBRE's Eyewitness.
This is the Head & Shoulders NFL Live postgame report, brought to you by Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders 2-in-1.
We welcome those of you who have watched the 9th straight win for the Houston Oilers, the one that wraps up the AFC Central Division for the Oilers as they knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers in 3 Rivers. Meanwhile, let's get a look at what's happening elsewhere in the National Football League, starting with the highest-scoring game of the year being played at Joe Robbie Stadium. Bills still leading Dolphins. No love lost between the two teams as Kelly and Brian Cox show in the first half. 10-9 Miami second quarter after a J.B. Brown interception. Scott Mitchell hit Keith Jackson from 16 yards out. Miami scored on its first 3 possessions, led 17-9. Buffalo comes back. 12-yard run here for Kenneth Davis, his second touchdown of the game. Narrows the Miami margin to 17-16. Then a Buffalo field goal. Then a crucial turnover just before the half as Mickey Washington picks off Mitchell and goes 27 yards for the TD that made it 26-17 Buffalo at the half. Third quarter, still 26-17. Miami's first play of the second half. Mitchell hits Keith Jackson. You'll see the ball stripped by Darryl Talley, picked up by Nate Odoms. He goes 25 yards for the TD, and it's 33-20 Buffalo, but they weren't finished yet. Following another Miami turnover moments later, Kenneth Davis' third touchdown of the day, this time from 1 yard out, 40-20 Buffalo. They would ultimately extend it to 47-20, and now with scant minutes remaining, it is 47-34. Critical stretch, Mike. They were up 20-19, were Miami. 4 straight turnovers, 4 straight Buffalo touchdowns.
Well, I'll say that Mitchell didn't look very sharp in the game, but when you get a game and you got 47 points scored by one team, 34 by the other, I would say that's an indictment against both defenses. They're not playing very well on the defensive side of the ball. We thought earlier in the day, we talked how much they'd missed Troy Vincent. Evidently, they missed him a lot more than I thought they'd missed him. And Lewis Oliver. I think those two guys in the secondary, I think they're playing coverage to protect people, and I think you can't do that in the NFL.
Buffalo best in the league at takeaway giveaway. When you're not scoring, you got to create scoring opportunities.
Well, that's what got them in first place early in the year. That's when they were playing good. They were getting a lot of turnovers, and they were making something out of them with their offense. Now they've gone back to that. You know, Buffalo's kind of a funny team, but, you know, if they get hot at the right time, it might be Super Bowl number 4 for them.
All right, let's go to Milwaukee, where an upset turns the NFC Central into a funhouse. 4 different teams can now still win the division after Minnesota beats Green Bay 21-17. It was a Jim McMahon start today. 121 pass attempts without throwing a touchdown coming in from McMahon, but he got 3 TDs today. Here's the first one to Kadri Ismail from 6 yards out. Ismail's first NFL TD. McMahon's first since October 3. 7-3 Vikings in the second. Pack comes back. Brett Favre finds Sterling Sharp from 37 yards out. Sharp's 10th TD of the season made it 10-7 Pack. Go to the fourth quarter. Vikings leading 14-10 off a McMahon to Chris Carter touchdown pass. So he looks for Chris Carter again, this time from 25 yards out, 21-10 Vikings. 4th and goal, 21-17 Vikings. Favre's pass with a minute and a half left is intended for Sharp, knocked away by Bensie Glenn, preserves the Viking victory, 21-17. And now if you take a look at the NFC Central standings, you can see that Detroit has a half-game lead over Green Bay, and Detroit finds itself behind San Francisco already this afternoon. Chicago and Minnesota both at 7-7. Either could still win the division. It has been the year of the giveaway for the Green Bay Packers.
The division might be won with an 8-8 record, and then it'll go down to who played the best within the division. I would think 9-7 will probably win it, but it doesn't look like anybody's that strong. I mean, Chicago might come on. If they can win their last 2 games, they're probably setting as good as anybody. It's always been that way in the Central Division. It's been a pretty close race, but this year it's almost impossible. They're all equal, all those teams.
Except in '85 when you ran the table with the Bears team that was, of course, the best in the last decade in the NFL, right, Mike?
Certainly had nothing to do with coaching.
I think it did. Houston Oilers, as you know, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 26-17. Those Oiler doubters keep getting their comeuppance as Houston wins for the 9th straight time. Oilers remembering Jeff Alm today, wearing his uniform number 76 on their helmets. Houston's opening drive, Warren Moon capped it off. Green pass to Gary Brown. He's been sensational for 6 weeks. He does it again here, 38 yards for the touchdown that gives Houston the early 7-0 initiative. Then seconds later, the Steelers' first possession, and we see what kind of a day it's going to be for the Pittsburgh offense. Neil O'Donnell's pass, intended for Jeff Graham, picked off by Bo Orlando, the new free safety for Houston, replacing the injured Marcus Robertson. He goes 38 yards for the TD that makes it 14-0 Houston. They led 20-3 at the half. Here's the only bad news for Houston in the first half. Wide receiver Webster Slaughter, AFC leader in catches, is out with a partial tear in the medial collateral ligament of his left knee, helped off the field after blocking for Gary Brown. Third quarter, 23-3 Houston. Pittsburgh tries to get back in it. Eric Green starts talking to Chris Dishman on the way into the end zone. Dishman comes up and says, I got your significant statement right here. Green says, hey, if you want to be starting something, you've got to be starting something. But that was all Pittsburgh could muster as the Oilers held on to win at 26-17. Now, the Oilers become the 9th team since the merger to sweep their division. Of the preceding 8, 7 have gone to the Super Bowl. Does this mean Houston goes to the Super Bowl?
I'll tell you what, if they end up with home field advantage, I think they got a great chance. Now, I said they couldn't play outside in cold weather in the wintertime. They proved me wrong today. But the reason that Houston is playing so good, Jim, and you can talk about their offense all you want to, They're playing great defense. They're getting turnovers. They're playing very aggressive, confident defense. They're playing Buddy Ryan-type football. And whether you want to give the credit to Warren Moon or Jack Party or whoever, they all deserve the credit. But they're playing great defense, and as a result, they're letting their offense do a lot of things they couldn't do before. Take with Brown. They're running the football better than they've ever run it, and they had a pretty good runner when they had White out there. So I think they're a team you got to watch, especially if you get home field advantage.
And it's nice for Jack Pardee that it's happening this way. We'll be back with more scores and highlights right after these messages.
In half a minute, millions of people will be focused on me. Hey, I want to look every bit the professional sportscaster. You can't have flakes. I had them. Not now. Not with this. You see, Head & Shoulders gets to 10 times more of the places flakes start than it did just a few years ago.
5 seconds.
That keeps my hair looking its best, and me in top form.
All set.
Especially when I'm facing some of the biggest names in sports.
Whoa. Head & Shoulders turns dandruff problems into great-looking hair.
Was I surprised when my dentist told me I had a tartar problem? I said, "Doctor, I brushed with a fluoride toothpaste with baking soda and peroxide." He said, "Products like that have no tartar-fighting ingredients, so your teeth aren't as clean as they could be. Use Tartar Control Crest." "But doctor," I said, "shouldn't I use baking soda and peroxide?" "Pete," he said, "those ingredients haven't been proven to do anything special." So I used Crest, and my next visit was great.
Tartar Control Crest. It's proven to fight tartar buildup. It's the dentist's choice.
No more surprises for me.
Welcome back. Let's keep going with the early scores. Washington and Atlanta playing out the string at RFK Stadium. The Redskins knock Atlanta out of the playoffs once and for all with a 30-17 victory. Skins' 10th straight win against the Falcons at RFK. Hard-hitting affair. Scott Case drills Art Monk, knocks his helmet off. Case has done that many times over the years. Second quarter, 9-7 Skins. Hebert's pass intended for Broussard, picked off by A.J. Johnson. A pre-halftime gift, 69 yards, 9 seconds on the clock, 16-7 Skins. Third quarter, 16-7 Skins. Broussard piling on the rushing yards, over 160 on the day, including this 2-yard TD that got the Falcons to within 2 at 16-14. But in the fourth quarter, with the Skins leading 23-17, Washington gets the last of its 7 sacks of Hebert. You'll see Sterling Palmer get the sack. The loose ball is picked up by the ancient Monty Coleman, who goes 31 yards for the TD that wraps it up. 30-17, Washington's 4th win of the year for the Skins. Atlanta out of playoff contention at 6-8. Hebert sacked 7 times, threw 4 interceptions, fumbled the ball away twice. The Rams lose to Cincinnati. Cincinnati wins. Wrong score. I picked a card up wrong. Lost the Cleveland card for the moment. Aha, here it is, out of order. New England beats Cleveland 20-17 on a fourth quarter comeback. Drew Bledsoe and company coming from behind to win. Parcells and Belichick, buddies with the Giants, meet for the first time as head coaches. Vinny Testaverde in the first quarter in a scoreless game caps a 10-play, 94-yard drive with his 10-yard touchdown pass to Keenan McCardle. First of 2 10-yard touchdowns for McCardle, who had never had one in the NFL. 14-3 Cleveland in the second quarter. Pats begin to come back. Bledsoe off the play action. It's Kevin Turner for a 6-yard TD. Browns lead 14-10. Then it's Bledsoe handing off to Leonard Russell. The 14-10 Cleveland leads. He barrels through the Browns' defense for a 4-yard TD. Parcells gives his approval to the 3rd victory of the year for New England, 20-17. We'll be back with more scores and highlights, including what's happening in the late games right after this.
You're deep in REM sleep, dreaming the big dreams. Because as Freud said, all men are great in their dreams. Suddenly, you don't feel so great anymore. You'll do the big things later. You hit the snooze bar. You hit the snooze bar. You hit the snooze bar. You hit the shower. You start soaping up with Ghost. Ghost is rocket fuel for the senses. Ghost is a big, bold blast off that turns you back into a human dynamo. Ghost, the eye-opener.
Getting bored was just plain enough. Introducing new Fisher favorite tropical fruit and nut mix, a more exciting flavor combination.
Pineapple, papaya, sweet cream almonds, honey roast peanuts, and whole cashews.
Crunchy nuts with juicy real fruit. New Fisher favorite tropical fruit and nut mix. The newest Fisher favorite.
It's Fisher flavor, or it's just plain nuts.
This is the Head & Shoulders NFL Live post-game report. Brought to you by Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders 2-in-1.
And we welcome those of you who have watched the Buffalo Bills polish off the Miami Dolphins 47-34 in the year's highest scoring game. With the indulgence of those of you who have been with us for a few minutes,
We're going to go back to the top of the order and start over with all the scores of the early games today in the NFL. Starting in Miami, where, as you know, the Bills won 47-34. No love lost between these two teams. Jim Kelly and Brian Cox had a heated exchange midway through the first half. There were penalties galore and scoring galore. 10-9 Miami in the second quarter. After a J.D. Brown interception, Scott Mitchell hit Keith Jackson from 16 yards out. Miami scored on its first 3 possessions, led 17-9. But in the second quarter, Buffalo comes right back. Kenneth Davis, his second TD of the day from 12 yards out, 17-16 Miami. Then a Buffalo field goal, 19-17. Then this critical turn of events just before halftime. Mickey Washington, I should say, picking off Mitchell from 27 yards and going in for the TD that gave Buffalo the 26-17 halftime lead. Third quarter, Miami's first play. Mitchell throws to Keith Jackson, stripped by Darryl Talley. Odoms takes it in from 25 yards out, 33-20 Buffalo. Following yet another Miami turnover, Kenneth Davis would score his third touchdown of the day, this time from a yard out, 40-20 Buffalo. Eventually they made it 47-20 and then held off the DeBerg-led Miami comeback. Buffalo in charge of the AFC East now with the 10-4 record and the win over Miami. 4 straight Miami turnovers, 4 straight Buffalo touchdowns in the middle of the game.
Well, Buffalo's gone back to doing things they did early in the year. They got some turnovers with their defense, and they capitalized with their offense. The offense looks like it's playing better. They're running the ball much better, and also they're pushing the ball down the field. And I tell you what, Buffalo's defense doesn't look very good right now to give up that many points, but Miami looks terrible. The loss of Troy Vincent and Louis Oliver has really wrecked their secondary. They're playing coverages to protect people, and you can't do that in the NFL and win.
Yeah, we've been talking for years about the improving Miami defense, but all at once they lose Offerdahl, Vincent, and the free safety Louis Oliver, maybe the 3 best defensive players.
Probably are. I mean, except for maybe one of those linemen, whether it be Coleman or something like that. But I tell you, they just can't play that kind of defense and be effective because they're trying to cover up for people.
All right. Turn our attention now to what happened in Milwaukee, where the Vikings upset Green Bay and turned the NFC Central into a funhouse where 4 different teams can still win the division. Final score 21-17. Jim McMahon starting the day, 121 pass attempts without throwing a touchdown pass. But he got 3 of them today. 3-0 Pack in the second quarter. McMahon hit Kadri Ismail from 6 yards out. Ismail's first NFL TD. McMahon's first since October 3, 7-3 Vikes. 7-3 Vikes still in the second. The Pack comes back. Brett Favre finding Sterling Sharp from 37 yards out. Sharp's 10th TD of the year. 10-7 Packers. Make it 14-10 Vikings in the third after a McMahon to Chris Carter touchdown pass. He goes to Carter again from 25 yards out. 21-10 Vikings. Late in the game, 21-17 Vikings. Favre throwing into the end zone. It's intended for Sharp, batted away by Bensie Glenn, preserves the Vikings' victory 21-17. And now as we take a look at NFC Central standings, you will see the 4 teams that still have a chance to win that division. Detroit, a half game ahead of Green Bay, but trailing San Francisco in the afternoon matchup. And Chicago and Minnesota at 7-7, both still in it, Mike.
You know, the irony of this whole thing is that 8-8 can win this thing. And 9-7 may win it. And we said that earlier. One of those teams is going to sneak in. If they get a hot run in the playoffs, I think they could make some waves. But I don't see any of these teams being strong enough really to hurt anybody, whether it be a San Francisco or Dallas or New York Giants. This is a weak division right now.
All right, now let's turn back to a relatively strong division, the AFC East. And O.J. Simpson is standing by down at Joe Robbie Stadium to talk to Nate Odoms of the Buffalo Bills. Let's go there right now and pick up that conversation. Juice.
Well, I'm with a guy that had a big day today, a fumble recovery for a touchdown and a key interception late in the game. Got to be happy with the way the Bills played defense today.
Yeah, very much. We need to come in here and play well in Miami. They're a very good football team, very good offensive football team, and we did that, and it's a great victory for us.
Thus far this year, you guys have played good defense, but unfortunately you didn't get to reciprocate it on offense. Today, every time you got a turnover, the offense took advantage of it. You had a touchdown today. Let's talk about that. If you look at the monitor here, tell us what's going on.
Well, I'm just playing a nice soft zone, and actually Darryl made the play. He stripped the ball, and my first thing was to pick it up, which I thought I had people around me, but I didn't. And I was able to get on the sideline and get a great block from, I think, Henry, and the rest of it is clockwork.
Well, all year, everyone's been talking about the Bills bickering, that this was not going to be the Bills' year. Yet here it is late in the season, and you got the best record in the AFC.
Well, we have a lot of guys with a lot of personality on our ball club, and that enables us to come to places like Miami and play well. So we're not bickering. We're just being ourselves and trying to play good football and beat good ball clubs.
Let's take a look at that fourth quarter interception of yours. Tell us what's going on.
Well, once again, Darryl making a play. Darryl caused the guy short to get out of position, and I made the play, and I wanted to try to get a little field position for our offense.
All right. One super game. 2 more wins, and you got home field advantage. Good luck to you.
Very much. Thank you.
Let's go back to Jim in New York.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much, Juice. Didn't matter who was playing quarterback for Miami today. Bills were pretty tough on Mitchell, and then ultimately pretty tough on DeBerg, too. All right, for those of you who watch the Oilers and the Steelers, so long. For those who watch the Bills and the Dolphins, we'll be back with more scores and highlights after this.
Want a place you can't resist? There's no bag tips you can pop like this. Tips and bags got bust to pieces. Brings it down with all their greases. Pringles can't stop. Pringles can't. You got the back, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of taste of the Pringles crunch. You got the duck-bill lizard too. Only Pringles may taste like this to you. Pringles can't stop. Pringles can't. No candles, bags of breakfast chips. Never like Pringles crunch your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
It's coming. The worst breath of the day. Morning breath. And ready to meet that sticky, pasty film head on. A whole new feeling of clean. A clean as fresh as smell. Introducing the new cooling formula in peppermint scope. Its antibacterial action still kills millions of morning breath bacteria on contact. And compared to that other blue, more people prefer its new cooling formula for leaving their mouths feeling cleaner. Discover a whole new feeling of clean. New peppermint scope.
This has been the Head & Shoulders NFL Live post-game report. Brought to you by Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders 2-in-1.
The executive producer of NBC Sports is Tommy Roy. NFL Live is produced by Ricky Diamond and directed by Kelly Atkinson. Technical director Richard Sansevier. Videotape producer Kevin Smolin. Associate director Mary Buda Lamusio. On Christmas Day, we've got a basketball and football triple header. It begins with NBA Showtime at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, preceding the Houston Rockets and the Phoenix Suns. Then it's football. The Houston Oilers visit Candlestick for a marquee matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. And in the nightcap, Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic take on the Chicago Bulls. For Mike Ditka, I'm Jim Lampley. Happy holidays.
He sings Women's Swoon. Michael Bolton, next Donahue.
The murder of Polly Klaas rocked the nation. And then it was Angie Housman and Cassidy Center.
When you walk in a city morgue and see your child, my life was just ended at that point. See my precious little angel like that.
We, as a civilized society, do not have to allow this to happen to our children. Is any child safe? Next up. Join me Monday at 4 on WDRE-TV.
Hey, Nancy, what are you doing Christmas? I don't know. I don't have any plans. Well, I'm going to Christmas Together. What's that? It's a turkey dinner with all the trimmings and an afternoon of songs and entertainment. If you need a ride, I'll come and get you. If you want a meal, they'll deliver. And everyone in Wyoming Valley's invited.
Sounds great. Christmas Together, noon to 3 on Christmas Day at First Presbyterian Church, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre.
For more information, call 824-2478.
This is Jim Miller along with Montage ski instructor Bob Rosen inviting you to join us every Thursday night for ski tips right here on WBRE's Eyewitness.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
That both feel so strongly about the Seminoles, their soft-spoken quarterback and Heisman Trophy Award winner Charlie Ward, who spends his time away from football helping those less fortunate than he. When the College Bowl preview returns.
The whole idea of saving for retirement is to get ahead. But if your IRA has annual fees and mutual fund sales charges, it can set you back from the start. To make all your money work for you, put it into a Schwab no annual fee IRA. You can choose from over 200 no-load mutual funds and pay no sales charges. And this performance guide is yours free when you open an account. So to make all your Ira money work for you,
Maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
This was my cold yesterday. Yuck. And then I saw something about...
Sudafed cold and cough liquid cap.
It's new.
Not even a prescription medicine gives you more complete, non-drowsy relief of cold symptoms.
Not even a prescription.
It relieves chest congestion, cough, fever.
All of which I had. So I had to get some, which I did. Now I'm better. And now I'm out of here.
Use Sudafed cold and cough liquid cap. No prescription gives you more complete, non-drowsy